Important update about YouTube playlists. Hey everyone. We've received many messages asking why our YouTube playlists aren't showing up. Do we create YouTube playlists? Yes, we absolutely do. So why can't you see them? Honestly, we're not sure. We've been in contact with YouTube support for several months now, but we still haven't received a clear answer or solution. After much discussion, our team has decided to take matters into our own hands. We believe the issue might be related to the number of playlists we've created on a single channel, possibly too many. Our solution? We're launching 2 additional YouTube channels, giving us a total of 3. This way, we can organize our audiobooks better and avoid the playlist visibility issue in the future. This change only affects our YouTube audience. If you're a patron supporter, you can still access all our audiobooks by visiting the collection menu on Patreon. Thanks so much for your time and continued support. Happy listening. Usually, it is convened only for matters concerning the fate of the East Dragon Empire. The last time it was held was 10 years ago, when the Freedom Federation targeted the East Dragon Empire in various instances, causing Marshal Lee to furiously propose a motion for war against the Freedom Federation. Following that council was a supersized international conflict instance, codenamed World War II. The mechanics secretly cultivated by the East Dragon Empire performed remarkably within the instance, nearly annihilating all participants from the Freedom Federation and its allies, which shocked the entire world. At the same time, the East Dragon Empire emerged as the leader among the world's major powers, and other nations dared not provoke it easily. Unfortunately, shortly thereafter, the mechanic cultivated in secret by the East Dragon Empire was inexplicably assassinated, wasting the vast resources Marshal Lee had invested in him. This led to the Freedom Federation reclaiming its strong international presence in recent years, oppressing the East Dragon Empire in various ways. Marshal Lee's prestige has also suffered a notable blow. But 10 years later, with the appearance of Li Hashan, the teacher seems prepared to take action again. Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan looked astonished, subconsciously casting their gazes towards Li Hashan inside the room. It was evident that the teacher convened the 100 Associates Council because of their new junior disciple, this newly changed mechanic. Marshal Lee gestured, and the mountain and river brush, floating in midair, returned to his grasp and disappeared. Hashan, come over here, meet your senior brother and senior sister. Marshal Lee said kindly. Li Hashan opened his eyes and immediately got up to walk over. He looked at Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan, hurriedly greeting. Li Hashan greets senior brother and senior sister. Both nodded subconsciously, seeming not yet over the earlier news. Marshal Lee smiled faintly and directly said to Li Hashan, Hashan, use your skill, let your senior brother and senior sister see. Oh, by the way, your previous demonstration must have consumed quite a bit. In such a short time, you probably haven't regained much spiritual power. Just summon whatever you can. Li Hashan responded, okay, teacher. Then, after a thought, he used the skill, Glute Pistol. Bang. A matte silver pistol instantly appeared in front of Li Hashan. Glute Pistol? What's special about this pistol? I don't see anything. Wang Qingfeng scrutinized it but couldn't find anything special about the pistol, furrowing his brows. But before he finished speaking, bang 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 bang, silver flashes continuously appeared before Li Hashan, and countless glute pistols frantically flashed into existence, emerging from the void. In the blink of an eye, the space in front of Li Hashan was filled with over 100 glute pistols. From just now until now, Li Hashan had only recovered over 100 points of spiritual power value. And the glute pistol consumes the least spiritual power, only 1 point, so he simply summoned all glute pistols. As for the reason, well, for a mechanic, the more superpower weapons, the more imposing. The once spacious courtyard suddenly felt somewhat crowded. Although Marshal Lee had already witnessed the magnificent scene of Li Hashan simultaneously summoning 600 Gatling machine guns, seeing over 100 glute pistols appear at once again made his eyes light up with unstoppable excitement. Then, he said in a deep voice, Hashan, fire at the sky. Yes, teacher. Li Hashan immediately commanded the 100 glute pistols to aim at the sky and fire madly. Bang 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 bang. The dense gunfire rang out instantly. After 5 seconds, the gunfire continued. After 10 seconds, the sound hadn't ceased. A full 30 seconds passed, and the firepower showed no sign of weakening. Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan were initially puzzled. How did this junior disciple accumulate over 100 glute pistols just days after changing professions? Was he from a prominent family? But after 10 seconds, they were all dumbfounded. The glute pistol typically has a standard 15-round magazine. Yet after the half-minute elapsed, they had likely fired more than 50 bullets, so why hadn't the firepower diminished? Could it be the bullets in his pistols were unlimited? But how could this be? What on earth is going on? Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan seemed to start understanding why the teacher took Li Hashan as his last disciple. But they couldn't comprehend how Li Hashan managed to do all this. Seeing the expressions on his two disciples' faces change, Marshal Li knew they felt they had realized Li Hashan's capabilities, and he smiled at Li Hashan. Hashan, you can stop now and put them away. Li Hashan nodded gently. With a thought, all the glute pistols vanished instantly. Marshal Li waved his hand, and a wall of air instantaneously rose around, encapsulating the entire courtyard. Then, with a gentle squeeze, the once transparent air wall distorted, severing any visibility from outside. Only then did he address Li Hashan. Hashan, share your attribute panel for your senior brother and senior sister to see. Li Hashan obliged. Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan immediately focused their eyes on it. Level 25. Didn't he just change professions a few days ago? How is he already level 25? Wang Qingfeng asked incredulously. But when Li Hashan opened the talent panel, Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan's eyes instantly widened, as if they had seen a ghost. Chapter 36 Mechanical War God Plan, Restart. They saw clearly that Li Hashan's skill was surprisingly not an ordinary mechanic's blueprint, but directly superpower weapons. No wonder Li Hashan made so many glute pistols at once just now, because his skill only consumes, with no cooldown. If Li Hashan's spiritual power value is sufficient, 100, even 1000, would be no problem. Also, what's that weird, mechanic's exclusive talent, on his right sidebar? Unlimited ammo? God's eye view? Does a mechanic have such things? With these two talents, let alone illusion god professions, even if a true god came, they'd also have to kneel. Moreover, it's even more outrageous that every 10 levels he can unlock more talents, with the first two so overpowered, the later ones probably won't be bad either. Hiss. Is this a mechanic? This is clearly a Terminator of the battlefield. Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan exchanged a glance, both saw the excitement and seriousness in the other's eyes. No wonder the teacher took him as a direct disciple and values him so much, so that's why. Qinghua Academy has really struck gold. Marshal Li forcibly controlled his emotions and said in a deep voice, Qingfeng, Xuan, do you have any questions now? Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan's expressions were extremely serious as they shook their heads earnestly. Marshal Li nodded and said, Hashan is only level 25 now, so the power of the superpower weapons he's unlocked is limited. But even so, as long as he changes his equipment and stacks his spiritual power value, with the number of superpower weapons he can summon, no professional under level 50 can withstand it. And once he raises his level above 50, he can collect epic equipment through slaughter dungeons and large instances. His burst attack power can even instantly kill all illusion god professionals below level 80. If coupled with high-level rejuvenation potions, hee. Wang Qingfeng's eyes instantly turned fiery. If that's the case, he, alone, could even crush an entire army of another country. Marshal Li heavily said, indeed. Moreover, this time, we don't even need to invest any resources in crafting superpower weapons. The only thing we need to do is to protect him well and let him grow up as quickly as possible. Marshal Li stared intently at Li Hashan. When Li Hashan's level rises above level 80, it will be the moment our East Dragon Empire dominates the globe. Ling Xuan hesitantly glanced at the teacher. Teacher, about the international instance a month from now, should we? Marshal Li decisively shook his head. No. Compared to Hashan's safety, the international instance a month from now is already unimportant. Although Hashan's attack power is strong, his defense is still not enough. If he is exposed so early, the Freedom Federation and Sakura country will definitely send assassins to kill Li Hashan, and I absolutely will not allow this to happen again. Hearing this, Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan nodded subconsciously. Indeed, compared to Li Hashan's safety, temporary gains are completely unimportant. As long as Li Hashan can level up to level 80 and become a high-level professional. With powerful equipment bonuses, he will have enough strength to protect himself. Add to that his countless superpower weapons. At that time, even if an assassin wanted to make a move on him, it would not be so easy. Moreover, Li Hashan's special talents unlock more every 10 levels. With more talents boosting him, Li Hashan will become even more powerful. Speaking of which, Li Hashan was also somewhat helpless. If it were a head-on confrontation, he wouldn't really be afraid of anyone now. But if he encounters those sneaky illusion god professions deliberately ambushing him, he has to be careful. Sigh, I wonder if the later talents will give me more defense or survival rate boosts. Li Hashan couldn't help but murmur to himself. Ling Xuan's clear eyes were also filled with fiery brilliance. When Hashan levels up, he can summon transformers, aircraft carriers, war fortresses, intercontinental missiles, Sky City, these large war weapons. At that time, if we enter large instances, slaughter dungeons, or international war instances, all it takes is for him to command the superpower army, and with God's eye view controlling the entire situation, even without other special talents, we could be invincible. Wang Qingfeng nodded heavily. extremely excited. Exactly. Hashin's God's Eye view can expand continuously by killing monsters. By the time he's level 80, the monsters he kills could be in the hundreds of thousands to millions. At that time, his God's Eye view can cover hundreds or even thousands of kilometers around. My gosh, at such a distance, he'd be able to monitor the entire Sakura country from our East Dragon Empire, more exaggerated than satellites. Zhang Zhen was also elated. Mechanics are originally long-range attack professions. With this, Hashin can fully control the enemy's every movement and achieve ultra-long-range precision strikes. Hee, just thinking about it is thrilling. Ling Xuan's eyes flashed a cold light, her face brimming with killing intent. By then, if those Wa people of Sakura country dare to make any small moves again, we'll just have Hashin summon thousands of intercontinental missiles and flatten Fushin Mountain, directly sinking that small broken island of theirs. Imagining the scene of countless intercontinental missiles streaking across the sky, falling towards the islands of Sakura country, Zhang Zhen couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. He gave a thumbs up to Ling Xuan, speaking with awe. Second senior sister is indeed the spokesperson of our nuclear peace elite, truly nuclear peace. Wang Qingfeng turned to look at Li Hashin, his expression extremely peculiar. They say that mechanical abilities can fight hundreds, even thousands. This guy, however, is going against an entire country. It's an upturn of heaven's rhythm. Marshal Li's eyes were shining as he waved off the imaginary thoughts of his direct disciples, solemnly saying, "All right, since you understand the reasoning, the next step is for us to start exerting strength in secret. I now announce the restart of the Mechanical War God Plan. All future strategic planning is to revolve around Hashin for arrangements and coordination. But before Hashin gains enough self-protection power, this matter must be conducted in secret, absolutely not to be leaked. Anyone daring to harm Hashin will be killed without mercy." Wang Qingfeng and the other two sternly nodded and responded loudly, "Yes, Marshal." Marshal Li nodded slightly, then turned and said, "Xuan, you are a Voidwalker, capable of space travel. Starting today, you will be responsible for taking Hashin to the wild to level up, first getting him to level 30. After reaching level 30, Hashin can enter the Endless Altar. With his unique talents combined with the attack power of a mechanic, his speed at solo farming experience will be faster. I believe it won't take long before Hashin can reach level 50. After reaching level 50, there are large instances and world bosses. By then equipping Hashin with a full set of epic equipment, and the Mechanical War God will basically be formed." "Okay, teacher." Ling Xuan responded excitedly. Marshal Li let out a cold smile, and said to Zhang Zhen, "Zhen, you stay to take care of Hashin. Qingfeng, Xuan, let's go, to convene the Grand Military Assembly." Chapter 37, Ban on the Country Order. "Yes, teacher." Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan replied excitedly. Soon, the three of them arrived at the Nuclear Peace Elite Conference Room. Wang Qingfeng opened the projection and took his seat. As the distorted light began to change, the scene before their eyes started to ripple like water. Marshal Li's expression remained calm, watching the scene change before him. Once the ripples subsided, the three were no longer in the Nuclear Peace Elite Conference Room but had arrived in a much larger conference room. In the center of the conference room was a massive long table, with 2 rows of people seated on either side. Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan sat in the foremost 2 positions on Marshal Li's right. On Marshal Li's left, at the head of the table, was an elderly man with a stern expression and finely dressed. He was Danzō, the president of the Glory of the Dead Guild. At the same time, he was also the president of the Clan Elders Council of the East Dragon Empire. Below Danzō was Yun Zhenhai, the vice president of the Glory of the Dead Guild. Further below were the heads of various major guilds of the East Dragon Empire. "Hey, do you know why the 100 Guild Council is being convened today?" "Not sure, I also just got the notice last minute. I heard it was initiated by Marshal Li." "Strange, hasn't there been anything major happening lately? Could it be because of the international war instance a month from now?" "Probably not. In recent years, Marshal Li has always been behind the scenes. Even for the international war instance, Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan represented us." The heads of the various guilds were still discussing when suddenly, Marshal Li's figure appeared in the conference room. Everyone's expressions became solemn, and they quickly fell silent, sitting up straight. Marshal Li glanced around at everyone, briefly pausing on Danzō and Yun Zhenhai to his left, then stood up first and respectfully turned to look at the large screen. The originally pitch-black screen flickered slightly, revealing a middle-aged man dressed in an elegant black and gold robe. Marshal Li slightly bowed to the middle-aged man and said, "Welcome, Your Majesty." "Welcome, Your Majesty." Everyone said in unison, bowing to the man on the screen. The middle-aged man, wearing a purple gold crown, had a faint smile on his face. "Presidents, no need for such formalities. Since everyone is here, Marshal Li, please preside over the meeting." "Yes, Your Majesty." Marshal Li nodded, Since the emergence of various monsters and professionals, the military power of all nations has been significantly weakened, with professionals gradually becoming the sole measure of a nation's strength. The imperial system of the East Dragon Empire continued, but the emperor's power had been greatly diminished, mostly responsible for administrative management, representing a status of prestige. As for military power, it was entirely in the hands of the major guilds, with the three major guilds of the East Dragon Empire at the forefront. Marshal Li stood up, glanced around the room, his gaze slightly narrowing, his voice turning solemn. I heard from King Feng that in the previous slaughter dungeons, our East Dragon Empire was continually ambushed by Sakura Country and the Freedom Federation, suffering significant losses. At these words, Zhu Danzō, president of the Glory of the Dead Guild to Marshal Li's left, slightly furrowed his brow. His vice president, Yun Zhenhai, also had a flash in his eyes. The expressions of the other guild presidents also became peculiar, secretly exchanging glances, confusion evident in their eyes. This is it? Marshal Li had not interfered in the affairs of the major guilds for years, suddenly calling for the 100 Guild Council just for such a minor matter? Ever since Marshal Li led the rise of the East Dragon Empire, it had always been secretly targeted by countries led by the Freedom Federation. Being ambushed by these countries was not very unusual, was it? Not to mention the Slaughter Dungeon, even in the Abyss Dungeon, Camp Battle Dungeon, and large raids, whenever those countries gathered, wasn't the East Dragon Empire always ambushed or targeted? Was this worth calling the 100 Guild Council for? But, after all, Marshal Li was the foremost figure in the East Dragon Empire. Even though his prestige was damaged by a past assassination incident, due to his contributions to the East Dragon Empire, as long as he remained Marshal Li and the president of Nuclear Peace Elite and the Dragon Group, his status would never waver. Faced with Marshal Li's inquiry, although the guild presidents were puzzled, they could only respond respectfully. Indeed, that's the case. Especially the Freedom Federation and Sakura Country. One could even say it's blatant. Even Korea Country hasn't been as respectful as before in recent years. Last time in the Abyss Dungeon, several young professionals from our guild encountered Kobayashi from Sakura Country, and were cruelly killed by him. Listening to the responses below, Marshal Li's expression remained unchanged, nodding slightly. According to King Feng's report, the reason our East Dragon Empire's professionals are frequently ambushed in various instances is likely because the other side's spies obtained our action plans before the instance even opened. How is your spy investigation going? The guild presidents exchanged a glance, somewhat perplexed, shaking their heads. Spies were an entity present in every country. The East Dragon Empire was vast and populous, with an open national policy and complex personnel. It's not easy to root out those spies. Zhu Danzō, president of the Glory of the Dead Guild, furrowed his brow slightly, speaking slowly. President Li, the spy investigation has always been a long-term and complex task, and all presidents have been working on it. But in the short term, it's difficult to achieve significant results, as you should know. Zhu Danzō was not only the president of the Glory of the Dead, but also the president of the Clan Elders Council. In the East Dragon Empire, his status was equivalent to a state's prime minister, virtually on par with Marshal Li. Therefore, he was the only one who did not need to address him as Marshal Li, and simply called him president. Marshal Li glanced at him faintly, then turned his gaze towards everyone, his eyes instantly becoming sharp. In recent years, our East Dragon Empire's younger professionals are already at a disadvantage. If they get killed a few more times by the Freedom Federation and others, won't there's no future talents left? Since you can't root out the spies they have planted, simply stop trying. I propose, in my capacity as the Marshal of the East Dragon Empire, that starting today, we implement a closed border order, sealing the entire realm from foreign professionals, simultaneously closing the international teleportation array. As for the foreign professionals still within the borders of the East Dragon Empire, you are allotted 1 day to expel them all. As these words fell, the entire conference room was initially silent, then it erupted into uproar. Except for Wang Qingfeng and Ling Xuan, who were prepared, their expressions unchanged. All other guild presidents displayed expressions of astonishment. Even the emperor attending the meeting was amazed, looking at Marshal Li. Closed border order? This is a significant move. With this order, the East Dragon Empire is practically closing itself off from the world, and with its current status internationally, it's bound to stir up an uproar, prompting speculation and discussions from countries worldwide. Chapter 38. What major events have happened recently? Zhu Danzō and Yun Zhenhai, the president and vice president of Glory of the Dead, exchanged a shocked glance, only to see confusion and puzzlement in each other's eyes. As one of the 3 major guilds in the East Dragon Empire, this news came as a complete surprise to them. Until now, both the Dragon Group and the Nuclear Peace Elite Guild hadn't released any information, not even the slightest hint. Why suddenly impose a national ban? Could it really be just because they were targeted by other countries in the instance a few times? Impossible. There must be something hidden they don't know about. After thinking for a moment, Zhu Danzu said in a deep voice, Chairman Li, the national ban is no small matter. If it is implemented suddenly, it will greatly affect our information exchange internationally. Moreover, if we just closed the country because we were targeted a few times in the instance by the Freedom Federation and other countries, it would make the East Dragon Empire seem too timid. Marshal Li calmly replied, in a month's time, it will be the international war instance. Since we cannot identify and purge the enemies infiltrated in, let's kick them all out. Even Sakura country's ninjas can find out when my specially trained mechanical war god goes to the bathroom, and easily succeed in assassination. Who knows how many more of their people are hidden within us? If they spy on our strategic layout for the international war instance in a month, who among you can take responsibility for that? Zhu Danzu seemed to want to say something, but Marshal Li gave him no such opportunity, waving him off. Wang Qingfen, you lead the Dragon Group in charge of national security, while Nuclear Peace Elite and Glory of the Dead assist. Yes, sir. Wang Qingfen and Ling Xuan immediately responded. Marshal Li turned to look at Zhu Danzu and Yun Zhenhai. Yun Zhenhai, the vice president of Glory of the Dead, exchanged a glance with Zhu Danzu, and had no choice but to respond with a solemn tone, yes, sir. Like Wang Qingfen, Yun Zhenhai, though only a vice president, was responsible for most of the affairs of Glory of the Dead. Zhu Danzu, as the chairman of the Clan Elders Council, typically only participated in major affairs, such as today's 100 Guild Council. Marshal Li nodded slightly, looking down at the presidents of the various guilds. As for the other guilds, cooperatively purge the interior with the 3 major guilds, and expel all foreign professionals. Pausing slightly, he released a killing intent through his gaze, speaking in a stern voice, after 1 day, anyone found harboring foreign professionals will be charged with treason, executed without mercy. Hearing this murderously intent proclamation, everyone trembled, their gazes turning stern. Clearly, Marshal Li was serious this time. Yes, sir. Understood. We obey the command, sir. Marshal Li nodded in satisfaction, his voice solemn. This meeting is now adjourned, dismissed. With that, he first turned and slightly bowed to His Majesty the Emperor, his figure gradually fading as he exited the online meeting. Seeing Marshal Li leave, the others also successively took their leave. In the meeting room of Beida Academy, Zhu Danzu, with a serious expression and dressed impeccably, exited the projection, eyes revealing a contemplative expression. Beside him, Vice President Yun Zhenhai wore a puzzled expression, also pondering everything that had just happened. Suddenly, Zhu Danzu turned to Yun Zhenhai, asking in a deep voice, recently, has anything unusual happened within the empire? Yun Zhenhai thought for a moment, shaking his head in confusion, no, everything in the empire is normal, nothing particularly special has happened. Zhu Danzu's eyes flickered with light, what about Qinghua Academy? Yun Zhenhai frowned, apart from new admissions, it seems like nothing else has been happening there either? Strange, I haven't noticed anything unusual either, but if there was nothing special, why would Mr. Li make such a huge move all of a sudden? Zhu Danzu's tone was grave. Mr. Li wouldn't make baseless accusations, the mere losses in a few instances aren't enough for him to forcibly implement a national ban. His eyes flashed with determination, something's wrong. Something has definitely happened recently that I don't know about. Zhenhai, send people to investigate immediately. Whether domestic or international, find out the real reason behind Mr. Li's move to close the country. Yes, President. Yun Zhenhai agreed at once, immediately heading out. Moments later, he issued the president's instructions through the guild's internal communications, finally letting out a slight sigh of relief. Just then, the door to Yun Zhenhai's office opened again, and a stern-looking middle-aged woman walked in. It was Yun Miao, who had gone to Four Symbol City in charge of university selections. Yun Miao looked at Yun Zhenhai in confusion. Brother, I heard Marshal Li suddenly convene the 100 Guild Council, did something happen? Yun Zhenhai glanced at his sister and shook his head. Just now, in the meeting, Marshal Li forcibly implemented a national ban. Yun Miao's body trembled, her eyes showing astonishment. National ban? Did some major event happen recently in the country? How could a national ban be issued? Yun Zhenhai shook his head helplessly, repeating Marshal Li's statements during the meeting. Yun Miao frowned, targeted in the instance? Just because of such trivial losses, they implement a national ban? Something feels off. Yun Zhenhai nodded, we're puzzled too. In recent years, Marshal Li hasn't really intervened in the international war instance. How could he suddenly decide to implement a national ban because of a few minor personnel losses in instances? Something particularly important must have happened recently, prompting Marshal Li to abruptly convene the 100 Guild Council and make such a decision. Yun Miao pondered in confusion, muttering, Marshal Li suddenly expelled all foreign professionals. There must be something needing confidentiality they don't want foreign countries to know about. But recently, nothing particularly major seems to have happened domestically, right? Yun Zanhai remarked strangely, the Dragon Group mainly handles national security. I just had people inquire, and it seems nothing special happened on their end either. Yun Miao, you're more involved with Kingwa Academy. Has anything major occurred there recently? Major? Doesn't seem like it. Kingwa is just following routine procedures. Apart from the recent new admissions, nothing particularly special seems to have happened. Saying this, a glimmer of light flashed in Yun Miao's eyes, a young man's image surfacing in her mind. Could it be him? But immediately, she laughed to herself, shaking her head, and thought, I'm being too sensitive. It's just a mechanic who leveled up a bit faster. How could it possibly warrant Mr. Li imposing a national ban? Back then, Kingwa Academy exhausted all its resources to produce a level 76 mechanic, and eventually, he easily died. Unless Mr. Li has become senile, why would he repeat the mistake, enforcing a national ban for a newly transferred mechanic? Chapter 39 Li Hashan's treatment. Setting aside that absurd thought in his mind, Yun Miao said seriously, I understand, brother. I'll pay closer attention to the movements over at Kingwa Academy these days. Yun Zanhai nodded slightly. Yes, that's all we can do. Alright, you go ahead and get busy. Okay, brother. Saying that, Yun Miao turned and left. At Marshal Li's courtyard, the 5 apprentices gathered here. Marshal Li said to Wang Qingfen, regarding the prohibition order, you must supervise it thoroughly. Ensure that by this time tomorrow, all foreign professionals are expelled, and no one is allowed to remain within our East Dragon Empire's borders. Especially at the borders, they must be tightly guarded. If any illegal immigrants try to sneak in, kill them directly without mercy. Yes, teacher, Wang Qingfen replied seriously. Han Shuang, with today's sudden issuance of the prohibition order, those in the country will surely try to gather information. In the short term, they probably won't suspect Hashan, but as time passes, there's no guarantee it won't be leaked. Starting today, your and Aizen's primary task is to help Hashan quickly level up, aiming for him to reach level 50 as soon as possible. As long as we can help him accumulate experience, all resources from the Dragon Group and the Nuclear Peace Elites are at his disposal unconditionally. Once he reaches level 50, get Hashan fully equipped with epic gear, and with advanced awakening, his ability to protect himself will be greatly enhanced. By then, we'll decide the next steps based on the special talent Hashan unlocks. Ling Xuan, with a serious look on her cold face, nodded, yes, teacher. Finally, Marshal Li looked at Zhang Zhen, Aizen, the fewer people who know about Hashan's existence, the better. Starting today, you teach Hashan alone. Hashan's profession is mechanic, which is a special profession within the illusion god professions. He doesn't need to learn and practice combat skills. You only need to teach him the theoretical knowledge about professionals. I understand, teacher, Zhang Zhen agreed as well. Since the emergence of professionals, the education for them has undergone significant changes. Because the differences between various professions are quite large, the old large-class collective teaching method is no longer applicable. Therefore, all universities now adopt a retro-mentorship system for teaching new professionals. Institutions like Kingwa and Beida, the top universities in the country, employ teachers who are at least level 50 and have completed advanced awakening for this purpose. After new professionals are enrolled each year, the academy assigns different teachers based on the freshmen's professions to be responsible for their teaching and training. Just like Wang Qingfen, Ling Xuan, and Zhang Zhen, their teacher is Marshal Li. For Li Hashan, this mode of teaching is quite suitable for him to conceal himself. After all, compared to the old mass teaching mode, the mentorship mode inherently provides more privacy. Li Hashan also doesn't need to frequently appear and interact with other professionals, reducing his exposure risk. Marshal Li nodded slightly and said seriously, the less known about Hashan's skills and talents, the better. You are all my apprentices, and apart from you, I cannot fully trust anyone else. This concerns the future of the East Dragon Empire, so proceed with caution. When we have cultivated him successfully, our East Dragon Empire will once again soar. Yes. Wang Qingfen and the other two responded enthusiastically. Having witnessed Li Hashan's abilities, even without Marshal Li's emphasis, they clearly understood how crucial Li Hashan actually was. He alone is equivalent to a national strategic weapon. Marshal Li smiled at Zhang Zhen, Aizen, take Hashan back to rest for now. Han Shuang still needs to cooperate with King Feng in executing the prohibition order. Once all foreign professionals are expelled by tomorrow, then start guiding him to level up. Alright, teacher. Saying this, Marshal Li's 4 apprentices went their separate ways, becoming busy. With Zhang Zhen leading, Li Hashan headed towards the back mountain. Before long, they arrived at a secluded and picturesque place. Standing before a 3-story building, Zhongzhen smiled and said, Hashan, you'll be living here from today onwards. As he spoke, Zhongzhen pointed to the side. Next door is my place, and over there are the residences of our senior brother and second sister. If you need any help in the future, feel free to come to us. The area around here is protected by an array set up by the second sister, so safety shouldn't be an issue. Additionally, the teleportation array over there connects directly to the teleportation hall at Kingwa Academy for our convenience. With Zhongzhen's introduction, Li Hashan looked around in surprise. These buildings were all individual villas, with a front yard of at least 200 square meters. The courtyard was elegantly arranged with rocks and waterfalls, pavilions and kiosks, creating a superb environment. Compared to where he used to live, just this courtyard was 3 times larger than his previous residence. Li Hashan was somewhat stunned. No wonder it's Kingwa Academy, the living conditions here are amazing. Zhongzhen laughed, your accommodation is exceptional. Even I moved here after surpassing level 60. Li Hashan was about to say something when a crisp voice suddenly interjected, oh? Hashan, you're back. Before the words finished, a tall figure cheerfully dashed out. Yu? Li Hashan turned to see, somewhat surprised. I thought you were helping other freshmen with their enrollment procedures? Jiang Wu Yu chuckled, enrolling doesn't take long, I brought them here and came back quickly. Hee, when someone came to clean the house earlier, I guessed it was you moving in, and indeed it is. Li Hashan laughed as well, that's great, we'll be neighbors from now on. Jiang Wu Yu blinked her bright eyes and smiled, yes, we'll be neighbors from now on. My new neighbor, aren't you going to invite me to take a look at your new home? Li Hashan chuckled, alright, let's go. I want to see what my new home looks like, too. With that, Jiang Wu Yu naturally pulled Li Hashan along as they eagerly ran inside. Observing the lively young pair, Zhongzhen revealed a meaningful smile, yet made no attempt to stop them. Last year, his wife was lost in an international war instance, and although Jiang Wu Yu appeared unaffected, continuing her daily life with a cheerful demeanor, as a father, Zhongzhen knew well that his daughter's optimistic facade was largely an act to ease his concerns. But just now, he could clearly sense the genuine joy and happiness his daughter exuded. His little junior brother seemed like a sudden ray of light, illuminating the East Dragon Empire as well as quietly lighting up Jiang Wu Yu's heart. Thinking of this, Zhongzhen hesitated slightly, an odd expression briefly crossing his face. Li Hashan is his junior brother, which means there's a generational gap with Jiang Wu Yu. But then he shook his head, dismissing the strange thought, and stepped inside. Forget it, why think so much, it's not like we're in an ancient feudal society. Let's each mind our own business. Chapter 40 Speculations about the Freedom Federation. The next day, the East Dragon Empire, like a slumbering lion, suddenly awoke. All the Imperial Guard army units of the Dragon Group were mobilized, camping and fortifying at the easily accessible border areas of the East Dragon Empire, strictly prohibiting any entry or exit. Meanwhile, the other major guilds, under the leadership and command of nuclear peace elites and glory of the dead, began to thoroughly eradicate all foreign professionals within the Empire's borders, expelling them entirely. At the same time, the East Dragon Empire's royal family issued a public announcement to all countries worldwide, effective immediately. The entire East Dragon Empire is under lockdown, and anyone who illegally crosses the borders will be considered to have provoked the East Dragon Empire and will face the consequences. This public notice instantly created a huge uproar on the international stage. Countries around the world began to speculate on the deeper meaning behind the East Dragon Empire's actions. Connecting this with the international war instance a month later, everyone began to suspect, was the East Dragon Empire planning some major move? Freedom Federation, National Conference Room. Unlike the 3 major guilds of the East Dragon Empire, the Freedom Federation had consolidated all national guilds, forming the strongest guild, the Yuan God. The Yuan God Guild not only served as the Freedom Federation's top military force, but also managed nationwide administration, akin to a national parliament. The various branches of the guild were spread across the country, with each branch responsible for managing a state. In the event of a major issue, all branch leaders were required to respond to the head guild's call and support the nation. Like, for instance, right now, the head guild master of the Yuan God Guild, Parker Williams, solemnly scanned everyone below him with a stern gaze. You all must have heard by now about the East Dragon Empire's enforcement of the lockdown order. So far, aside from their own professionals, all nationals from other countries have been forcibly expelled. Let's discuss. Have your people gathered any information on this? All the branch masters exchanged glances, and low discussions filled the conference room. But moments later, the bewilderment on their faces showed that none of them knew why the East Dragon Empire had suddenly enforced a lockdown order. The Gotham branch master, James Gordon, hesitated before speaking. Master, Could it be related to the international war instance happening in a month? Is the East Dragon Empire secretly planning something? Upon hearing James's comments, the other branch masters slightly nodded, clearly having the same suspicions. Because at this stage, aside from the looming international war instance, nothing else seemed significant enough for the East Dragon Empire to implement a closure order. Moreover, according to those who were expelled from the East Dragon Empire, nothing unusual had happened there recently, and everything appeared normal. Parker Williams wore a pensive look, his eyes gleaming with thoughts. After a moment, he slowly shook his head, speaking in a deep voice. No, it doesn't seem related to the international war instance. Mr. Lee isn't a fool. If they really had secret plans concerning the international war instance, they shouldn't be acting so brazenly. Implementing a lockdown order at such a time would be tantamount to blatantly telling everyone that they're preparing a secret weapon to deal with the upcoming international war instance. That doesn't make sense. The Hueco branch master, Bruno Collins, furrowed his brow, but if it's not the international war instance, what else could warrant the East Dragon Empire enforcing a closure order? Could it be that some powerful world boss appeared in the East Dragon Empire, and they don't want people from other countries to intervene? Or perhaps they acquired some especially powerful legendary epic, some kind of game-changing effect, and they want to keep it secret? Could it be that Mr. Lee suddenly kicked the bucket? And they're afraid we'll find out and wage war? You must be joking. Can't you think a bit? Mr. Lee is an 88-level creator, ranked first on the leaderboard, stronger than even the head guild master. He wouldn't just drop dead for no reason. What the hell? Whose side are you on? Are you looking for a fight? You idiot. I'm just telling you to learn to use your brain, not just think with your lower head. All kinds of disorderly guesses erupted in the conference room, with various noisy arguments rising and falling. Parker Williams watched the suddenly chaotic conference room with a headache and loudly yelled, "Quiet down. What are you doing?" Seeing the head guild master angry, the various disputes and debates finally gradually subsided. Parker Williams glowered at everyone, thought for a moment, then fixed his gaze on James Gordon. James, inform Sakura Country to find a way to infiltrate the East Dragon Empire and uncover the real reason behind the lockdown order. I have a feeling that old wolf Mr. Lee is plotting something unsavory again. Master Guild Master, why do we need Sakura Country to send people? Isn't it more direct for us to send our own people? A branch master immediately questioned. Parker Williams shot him a glance. Fool. People from the Freedom Federation look so different from those in the East Dragon Empire. How on earth could we infiltrate? That branch master was immediately at a loss. James nodded. I understand, Master Guild Master. Parker nodded slightly, waving a hand. All right, let's leave it at that. Until we have concrete information, monitor every move of the East Dragon Empire closely. Yes, Master Guild Master. Everyone shouted. Sakura Country, Heavenly Light Guild Headquarters. The highly revered guild master in Sakura Country, Kobe Kenjin, was bowing lowly before the big screen. Kobe Kenjin, you're already aware of the East Dragon Empire's lockdown order. In recent years, though we have consistently suppressed the East Dragon Empire, their overall strength remains formidable. Your Sakura Country is adjacent to the East Dragon Empire. If they are indeed preparing some major move, given your history with them, you'd be the first to suffer. Head Guild Master Parker has instructed me to tell you to find a way to send people into the East Dragon Empire as quickly as possible and uncover the true reason behind their lockdown order. Kobe Kenjin looked troubled but dared not show any disrespect before James. After all, without the backing of the Freedom Federation, a small island country like Sakura Country would have long been annexed by the East Dragon Empire across the sea. Any request from their benefactor would have to be complied with. Yes. Kobe Kenjin bowed in response. All right, that's it. Please act quickly. James nodded with satisfaction and closed the video communication. As the big screen went black, Kobe Kenjin, who had just been groveling, immediately straightened his posture with a proud and noble stance. He thought for a moment, then ordered sternly, "Come in." "Yes, Guildmaster." A subordinate respectfully rushed in. "Notify Ichiro to come, I have something to discuss with him." "Yes." Chapter 41, Just keep grinding experience and popping double experience pills. The subordinate bowed and exited backwards. A moment later, a young and arrogant voice sounded outside the door. "Father, did you call for me?" Kobe Kenjin's face showed a proud smile, and he said with authority, "Ichiro, come in." The wooden door opened, and a young man in his 20s with medium-length hair walked in. The youth's features were extremely delicate, carrying a kind of soft androgynous beauty. But the rebellious look in his eyes added a touch of viciousness to that softness. Undoubtedly, he was the idol of all young people in Sakura Country and the pride of the Kobe family, known as the strongest among the younger generation in Sakura Country, Kobe Ichiro. Kobe Kinjin looked at his son and slowly said, "You must have heard about the East Dragon Empire implementing the Forbidden Country Decree, right?" Kobe Ichiro nonchalantly nodded. "Heard about it, so what if they seal it? What's the big deal? East Dragon hasn't had any decent young professionals in recent years, getting more and more incompetent. When I reach level 50 and complete my advanced awakening, I'll crush them directly." Kobe Kinjin scolded with a steady tone, "Baka. How have I always taught you? You must never underestimate the enemy, or one day, you will suffer greatly." Kobe Ichiro paused slightly, then slightly restrained his arrogance, and stood at attention. "Yes." Kobe Kinjin's expression softened slightly, and he said seriously, "The sudden enactment of the Forbidden Country Decree by the East Dragon Empire must harbor some unspeakable secret. In a month, there will be the International War instance. I suspect their current decree is likely in preparation for the upcoming International War instance. There's an old saying in East Dragon, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be in peril in 100 battles. To be on the safe side, we need to understand the true reason behind the East Dragon's Forbidden Country as early as possible and make preparations ahead of time." Kobe Ichiro questioned, "But father, East Dragon has already implemented the Forbidden Country Decree. Even our people can't get in, so how are we supposed to gather information?" Sakura Country people and East Dragon people may not look much different in appearance, but the constipation-like accent of the Sakura Country folks makes it easy to be exposed once they speak. Moreover, the profession awakenings of Sakura Country people are vastly different from those of East Dragon people. Even if they manage to infiltrate, they can only pretend to be ordinary people. Otherwise, once they use the abilities of professionals, they'll be exposed immediately. Kobe Kinjin smiled smugly. "It's indeed difficult to break through their border blockade, but if we can't go in, we can make them come out voluntarily. Then, when we capture them and interrogate them, we might get something out of it." Kobe Ichiro's eyes lit up. "Father, you mean?" Kobe Kinjin knew his son already guessed his plan and nodded emphatically. "Exactly. Just use this." By the next afternoon, the East Dragon Empire had completed a full territorial lockdown and closed all international teleportation arrays. The Forbidden Country Decree was fully executed. At Li Hashan's residence, in a spacious hall, Zhang Zhen had just finished his lecture to Li Hashan. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared nearby, and a pitch-black fissure tore open out of nowhere. A tall and cold figure emerged. It was Ling Xuan, just returning from handling official business. "Second senior sister," Li Hashan quickly greeted Ling Xuan. A gentle smile appeared on Xuan's cold face as she spoke. "Junior brother, the Forbidden Country Decree has already started. From now on, the entire East Dragon Empire will no longer have any foreign professionals. At the same time, all major cities have implemented temporary controls. No professionals are allowed to leave the city without authorization, so we can confidently go out into the wild to level up." Upon hearing this, Li Hashan was taken aback. "Even the cities are under control? With such big measures, won't other professionals have objections?" Xuan chuckled lightly. "Objections? With our 3 major guilds stepping in, who dares have objections? Compared to your safety, their opinions don't matter at all. What's more, the temporary control won't last too long. Once you reach level 30, you can enter the Endless Altar to gain experience. By then, with the Endless Altar combined with outdoor monster grinding, your leveling speed will increase further. Once you reach level 50, large-scale raid instances can be opened, and the temporary control can be lifted." Zhang Zhen also smiled slightly. "Exactly, Hashan, you have to know that your importance now is no longer the same as that of ordinary professionals. Even we are far inferior to you. As long as it allows you to level up quickly, nothing else matters." "This. Thank you, third senior brother, and second senior sister," Li Hashan sincerely said. Xuan smiled and shook her head. "Come on, there's no one outside now. We can safely grind and level up." With that, Xuan waved her delicate hand, and a pitch-black space fissure appeared once more. She pulled Li Hashan and Zhang Zhen to her side. The silver-white space power instantly enveloped the two, and then they stepped into the space fissure. As an illusion god professional Nihility Walker, Ling Xuan's mastery and use of space power had reached an extraordinary level. The main reason Marshal Li chose her to help Li Hashan level up was that Ling Xuan could freely traverse space to grind monsters and level up in any location. At the edge of the Valley of the Dead, 200 miles from Danjing City, a silver light flashed, and the figures of Li Hashan and Ling Xuan quietly appeared there. Li Hashan focused his gaze downwards, and his eyes froze in place. Below, the empty valley was filled with a dense mass of undead creatures, stretching as far as the eye could see, probably numbering over 1,000. Level 32 skeleton warriors, level 33 zombies, level 35 headless knights. Goodness, that's a large amount of experience. With a hint of excitement in her eyes, Ling Xuan took a blue elixir from her pocket and handed it to Li Hashan, saying, "Junior brother, take this, and we can start." Looking at the blue elixir, Li Hashan was amazed. "Is this the heavenly spirit pill?" Xuan chuckled, "Correct. The teacher said that before you reach level 50, whenever you gain experience, always take the heavenly spirit pill. This will maximize your leveling speed." The heavenly spirit pill, also known as the double experience pill, is an elixir that can only be refined by an alchemist. It's the coveted treasure of all professionals when leveling up. Its effect is simple: it doubles the experience points gained within half an hour of consumption. It applies to all instances and wild monsters below level 50. Such a small elixir sells for 200,000 gold coins at the auction house. Not to mention ordinary people, even the general medium and small families can't bear to let their younger generation use it. Only true great families or top guilds would occasionally use it during special periods, such as when grinding high difficulty, high experience instances like the Abyss Dungeon. How extravagant of Li Hashan, taking a double experience pill every time he gains experience. Chapter 42 Kobe Kinjin's plan. Li Hashan sighed while taking the elixir and swallowed it. As the elixir went down his throat, a 30-minute countdown appeared before Li Hashan's eyes, symbolizing the double experience time of the heavenly spirit pill. Seeing Li Hashan take the double experience pill, Ling Xuan hesitated no longer, reached out and grabbed a dazzling magic wand, its surface shining with golden light like it was crafted from diamonds. At the same time, a flash of light appeared on Ling Xuan's body, revealing a sparkling golden epic set that replaced her usual attire. Then, the golden light receded, showing the original bright silver of the epic set. Epic set, Silver Moon Goddess. Li Hashan's eyes lit up at the sight. The Silver Moon Goddess set was one of the top 5 exquisite sets on the East Dragon Empire equipment rankings. I really want to reach level 50 quickly. Once I reach level 50, I can also wear epic equipment. Li Hashan thought longingly in his heart. Ling Xuan wasted no time. After donning her equipment, she turned to Zhang Zhen. "Third junior brother, protect the little junior brother. I'll clear the monsters." Zhang Zhen nodded, "Understood, second senior sister. Hashan is under my watch. Go ahead and focus on sweeping the monsters." Ling Xuan smiled and nodded, her figure vanished in an instant. This was Zhang Zhen's duty. Bringing him along was so that he could protect Li Hashan while Ling Xuan was clearing monsters, preventing any unexpected events. Space tore apart, and Ling Xuan appeared above the valley, waving her magic wand downward. "Dimension storm!" Ling Xuan shouted softly. Zai-ing. Accompanied by a series of intense space-tearing sounds, countless silver-white dimension blades covered the Valley of the Dead. The dimension blades, formed by the condensation of space power, swept over the undead creatures in the valley like a torrential downpour. Every undead creature touched by a dimension blade was instantly chopped into pieces with a crisp snap. The team successfully killed Skeleton Warrior, gaining 400 experience points. The team successfully killed a zombie, gaining 440 experience points. The team successfully killed Headless Knight, gaining 480 experience points. In the next instant, the screen was flooded with kill notifications, filling Li Hashan's field of vision, making him click his tongue with admiration. When there are enough wild monsters and high-level professionals join the team to clear them, this speed is far faster than clearing dungeons on his own. Plus, Ling Xuan's skill was inherently a wide area A group damage. This single skill completely cleared a vast area of the valley, making hundreds of monsters disappear instantly. Moreover, this monster gathering spot was clearly chosen by Ling Xuan with care, with all monsters not exceeding level 35, just perfect for Li Hashan to gain the maximum experience points from clearing them. According to the rules, when professionals are clearing wild monsters, if a monster's level exceeds the professional's level by more than 10 levels, they will receive an experience penalty, significantly reducing the experience points gained. Within 10 levels difference, the closer the monster's level is to 10 levels higher, the greater the experience yield. And combined with a double experience pill, Li Hashan's efficiency in gaining experience could be maximized, soaring right on the spot. As those undead creatures were exterminated, countless materials and green equipment dropped all over the ground. Yet, looking at those pieces of equipment, Li Hashan did not move, not even bothering to pick them up. What a joke, he even consumed a heavenly spirit pill worth 200,000 gold coins, so why waste time picking up this garbage? With that time, it would be better to clear more monsters. In just a few minutes, Ling Xuan had swept through the entire valley, eradicating thousands of undead monsters. Li Hashan looked at his experience points with joy, as they suddenly jumped from 1% to 12%, rising swiftly. Mind you, as one's level increases, the span of experience points becomes enormous. If a regular professional were leveling up, they'd probably be dozens of times slower than Li Hashan. Seeing Ling Xuan clear a monster gathering spot so quickly, Lee Hashin thought about the advantages of the temporary city control policy. If all professionals were unable to leave the city to clear monsters, it would be equivalent to Lee Hashin and Ling Xuan monopolizing all monster gathering points in the East Dragon Empire. With Ling Xuan's ability to freely traverse spaces, she could take Lee Hashin to swiftly clear monsters at any level's gathering point. This not only keeps the secret safe, avoiding being seen by others. Moreover, because there's no one to contest the monsters, the efficiency of clearing them could be maximized. It's undeniable that Marshal Lee truly exhausted every method to enable Lee Hashin to level up rapidly. After Ling Xuan completely cleared the valley's undead creatures, her figure reappeared, clad in a silver-white set, resembling a goddess of space and time. She smiled gently at Lee Hashin. Done, let's go to the next monster gathering point. With that, Ling Xuan waved her hand again, and together with Zhongzhen and Lee Hashin, they vanished into the space rift, directly teleporting to the next planned monster clearing area. Meanwhile, the door to Wang Qingfeng's office at Qinghua Academy was suddenly knocked on. Knock, knock, knock. Wang Qingfeng calmly said, "Come in." A subordinate from the Department of Foreign Affairs opened the door respectfully. "Vice President, Kenjin from Sakura Country's Kobe is calling in for a video conference. He wants to speak with you face to face." Wang Qingfeng raised an eyebrow. "Kenjin of Amaterasu? What's he up to?" The subordinate said, "Previously, the Zoda Academy of Sakura Country applied for international exchange with our academy, scheduled for recently. However, now that we have enacted the national ban, Kenjin wants to discuss the matter of international exchange with you." "International exchange?" Wang Qingfeng paused slightly, then casually waved a hand. "There does seem to be such a thing. I almost forgot. Tell him that during the national ban, all activities are cancelled. We can talk about it later when there's a chance." The subordinate bowed in agreement. "Yes, Vice President." Sakura Country, Amaterasu headquarters. "Talk about it later when there's a chance?" Although we already anticipated that the East Dragon wouldn't continue international exchanges at this time, Wang Qingfeng's words really are unceremonious, Kobe Ichiro said with a gloomy expression. Kobe Kenjin's face was also darkened. As the chairman of Amaterasu, the most powerful guild in Sakura Country, even the basic respect was denied to him, with a mere subordinate relaying the words. It was blatantly dismissive. Kobe Kenjin snorted angrily, his eyes flashed darkly. Backyaro. East Dragon Empire, becoming more and more disrespectful. He abruptly turned to Kobe Ichiro and said fiercely, "Ichiro, initiate the plan, launch the camp battle dungeon. The maximum participant limit for those at level 50 and below in the camp battle dungeon is just 50 people. This small team level instance is where we have the greatest advantage. Choose 10 melee experts from the samurai department, and 10 vanguard scouts from the ninja department to collaborate with 30 onmyoji from the yin-yang department. Given the low-level professional standards of the East Dragon Empire in recent years, with you leading, they will undoubtedly lose. Since the East Dragon Empire likes being a turtle hiding in its shell, we'll force them to come out." Chapter 43, Sakura Country's Provocation. Hearing his father's words, Kobe Ichiro's eyes lit up with excitement and a bloodthirsty gleam. "Perfect, I didn't get enough satisfaction in the last Abyss dungeon. This time, I definitely want to kill to my heart's content, ha 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 ha." Half an hour later, a message suddenly refreshed in the dungeon hall, drawing attention from all over the world. Sakura Country has proactively launched a camp battle challenge against the East Dragon Empire. In the Freedom Federation, Parker Williams, president of the Yuan God Guild, heard the report from his subordinates, and a playful smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. "Interesting, seems like those Japs from Sakura Country can't just sneak in. Are they trying to interrogate for information in the dungeon?" East Dragon Empire, Dungeon Hall of Danjing City. All the professionals glared angrily at that camp dungeon challenge prompt. Furious curses rang out continuously. Above it, there was a declaration from the Heavenly Light Guild of Sakura Country initiating the camp battle dungeon challenge. Under 50, Sakura is invincible, live or die by fate. What the hell? Is Sakura Country so bold? How dare they provoke us like this? Damn it, I can't hold back anymore. Those shorties from Sakura Country even dare to claim invincibility? Anyone under level 50, come in with me and crush them. Hell, count me in. I can't stand those Japs showing off their pretentiousness. The dungeon halls of various cities in the East Dragon Empire instantly erupted in curses, and many professionals over level 40 signed up one after another to participate in the camp confrontation, ready to teach the Sakura Country Japs a harsh lesson. The camp battle dungeon can only be initiated by a guild, with a battlefield fixed at King's Valley, divided into red and blue sides. Each side can have 50 people enter the dungeon for the camp battle. Within the restricted conditions, each camp can independently choose who enters. This is essentially a simple version of the International Warfare dungeon. Usually, major guilds use it to train coordination and give new members experience. But under normal circumstances, the camp battle dungeon is conducted within one's own country. Even internationally, exchanges are prearranged between major guilds, otherwise, it would be no different from blatant provocation without prior arrangement. However, this camp battle dungeon from Sakura country was not aimed at a specific guild, but all guilds in the East Dragon Empire. Moreover, they dared to make such a declaration. This is not training at all, it's blatant provocation. Kingwa Academy, Dean's office. A subordinate rushed in anxiously, loudly saying, "Dean, Sakura country has opened a camp challenge dungeon against all our nation's guilds, and many of our academy's students have been provoked and joined in." Wang Qingfeng frowned. Camp battle dungeon? Under what level is this camp battle dungeon? Under level 50. Level 50? Could it be because we refused their exchange visit and they're using this way to make a statement? Wang Qingfeng sneered, childish. Under level 50 means low-level professionals. Indeed, Sakura country's Onmyoji has quite an advantage in this low-level phase, but what's the point of that? A nation's strength mainly lies in mid to high-level combat power. Even if they win such a child's play-like confrontation, do they think other countries will regard them more highly because of it? Ignore them. If they want to play these low-tier games, let them play by themselves. The subordinate's face was filled with worry, but Chairman, Sakura country's challenge declaration is live or die by fate. I'm worried they might. Wang Qingfeng suddenly lifted his head, stared at him intently. What did you say? Live or die by fate? Is Sakura country planning to kill people in the camp battle dungeon? At this time, the dungeon halls in various cities of the East Dragon Empire gathered more and more people. All these people were watching the battle report of the camp battle dungeon with excitement on their faces. Hey! We took down the first defense tower in the bottom lane so quickly. Sakura country isn't that great, they're only good at big talk. Haha, we also took down the defense tower at the top lane first. Amazing. The camp battle dungeon has 3 paths leading to the opponent's camp crystal. Each path has 3 defense towers, for a total of 9 defense towers. Usually, to break the opponent's camp crystal and claim victory, you must first attempt to destroy their defense towers to weaken their defensive power. This not only requires the professionals to be strong enough, but also requires certain wisdom and strategy. Most of the time, the earlier you break the opponent's defense towers, the more advantageous you will be in the subsequent camp battle. Although you can't see the specific camp battle scene from outside, you can roughly judge the advantage by the situation of the defense towers. Haha, these Japs from Sakura country only bluff with their words. Look, they lost 2 defense towers to us so quickly, they're really not up to much. North Star and Kingwa are still the best. Look at Shangwenji and Wang Rui's scores, they're way ahead of others. They must have led the team to take down those 2 defense towers. Seeing their side having the advantage, each dungeon hall burst into excited discussions. But just then, suddenly, the first tower on the middle lane for the red side was also pushed by the opponent. The crowd's discussion abruptly paused, then resumed. No worries, we've already pushed 2 towers of theirs, letting them have 1 is no big deal. Yeah, exactly. What's going on? Why has Shangwenji's name turned gray? Damn it. Shangwenji is dead? That bunch of Japs actually went for the kill? Then, not only Shangwenji, but also Wang Rui's name quickly turned black. Over 10 names on the red side instantly turned gray. In the camp battle dungeon, a grayed out name represents death. Damn. Our second tower on the middle lane was also pushed. What's going on? Are those Japs on speed or something? They're so fierce? It's over. The third tower on the middle lane is down too. They've hit the high ground. Then, a few minutes later, the red team's crystal was still standing, but members of the red side died at an even faster rate, one after another, their names turning gray. What's going on? With the opponent's advantage, they should have destroyed the crystal a long time ago. Are our people still holding on, defending the high ground? Damn. Defend what? Sakura country's damn Japs, they never intended to push the crystal, these bastards intend to annihilate us. Screw them. Sakura country has gone mad. How dare they so brazenly provoke us, East Dragon? Do these Japs think of themselves as their white father's favorite? Damn it. 10 minutes later, all members of the red side turned gray. Red side, completely annihilated. In an instant, all of East Dragon Empire's dungeon halls fell silent, then erupted in rage. Just Sakura country, dare to be so arrogant. Chapter 44 Level 30. New Skill Tank. At the headquarters of the Heavenly Light Guild, in the Instance Hall. Kobe Ichiro with an arrogant expression laughed heartily, ha ha ha. It was so damn satisfying to kill them. Kobe Kenjin asked solemnly, Ichiro, did you get any useful information from the interrogation? Kobayashi restrained his smile and shook his head. No, not sure if they really don't know or if they're just tight-lipped. They know nothing about the East Dragon Forbidden Country. Kobayashi slightly frowned. Maybe their rank is too low to access secrets at that level. Beside them, a non-Myoji cleverly suggested, President, since their rank is low, why don't we increase the camp battle dungeon level to 50 or above 60? Professionals at this level should have more access to secrets, right? Kobayashi looked at him as if he was looking at an idiot and cursed, Baka. The East Dragon Empire has many strong professionals over level 50, bullying their low-level professionals is one thing, but raising the level to 50, do you have a death wish? The Onmyoji immediately shrank back, not daring to speak again. Kobayashi frowned, raising it to 50 is definitely not feasible. I was lucky to gather a full set of overpowered Onmyoji exclusive legendary orange equipment at level 40, which boosts all Shikigami abilities by 50%. With this level of attribute enhancement, combined with 5 high-level Shikigami, I can almost sweep all professions at level 40. But at level 50, the professionals in the East Dragon Empire have advanced awakening bonuses, which greatly increases their strength, making them difficult to deal with. However, if we only stick to these low-level professionals below level 50, it's indeed hard for us to obtain useful intelligence. This is... Kobayashi's eyes gleamed, and he spoke. There's another way, to bring in their professionals above level 50, we can adjust the level and equipment balance. Without the advanced awakening and epic equipment bonuses of level 50, with your strength, you can still crush them. Kobayashi was excited. Great idea. Haha, this time, I'm going to rub the face of the East Dragon Empire into the ground. Just as all people from the East Dragon Empire were in a fury, suddenly, the camp battle dungeon in the instance hall changed again. Sakura Country activated the level and equipment balance function in the camp battle dungeon, continuing to taunt, all the low-level professionals of the East Dragon are trash. Bring ultra-intermediate professionals. Damn. So arrogant. Get some big shots to kill them. Even with level and equipment balance, intermediate professionals' basic attributes are much stronger than those damn Japs. Does East Dragon have no one? Where are the people from the 3 major guilds? Don't be a turtle at times like this. The instance hall was in an uproar with curses everywhere. Spurred by the provocation from Sakura Country, another dozen or so 50-level professionals, along with a group of over 40 levels professionals, entered the camp battle dungeon again. However, 10 minutes later, the names of these people turned gray once more. The red faction was once again wiped out by Sakura Country. Hiss. What's going on? Since when did Sakura Country become so strong that even a level 50 big brother can't handle them? Impossible. Even if their Onmyoji has the advantage at low levels, there shouldn't be such a huge disparity. While everyone was bewildered, the leader of the Sakura Country camp suddenly revealed his name. Sakura Country, Heavenly Light Guild, Kobayashi. At the same time, the camp battle dungeon challenge declaration was also changed. Number 1 below level 50, Sick Man of East Dragon. If you're not convinced, come and fight. Seeing this name, everyone's faces showed expressions of realization and gritted teeth. Damn it. So it's that pansy, Kobayashi. Damn, this guy got lucky and collected the Onmyoji exclusive legendary set. That's a 50% Shikigami enhancement, almost as good as a typical epic set. I almost got killed by him in the last Abyss dungeon. This is a problem now. With his 5 powerful Shikigami, Kobayashi is completely invincible in his tier below level 50. It's impossible to win. Our East Dragon Empire has plenty of talents. I refuse to believe there's no one who can stand against Kobayashi. Where are those top students from Kingwa and Beiida? Get in there. While the instance hall was in chaos, Lee Hashin, led by Ling Xuan, was moving around the major wild monster gathering spots within the country, crazily killing monsters and grinding experience. For an entire day, Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen took turns, each time unleashing ultimate moves for firepower coverage, killing everything in sight. As the sun set, Lee Hashin's level finally increased to 30. Upon hearing the news, Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen shuddered with excitement and gathered around. Finally level 30. Hashin, quickly check your skills and new talent. Even the usually aloof Ling Xuan's eyes were filled with enthusiasm. Lee Hashin, feeling both excited and nervous, directly opened his attribute panel. 10 points of free potential were still added directly to the spiritual power value. Then, Lee Hashin immediately scrolled to the bottom of the attribute panel to open the talent section. As expected, after reaching level 30, a new skill was unlocked. Skill, Heavy Tank. Skill description, summon a heavy tank. Each minute the tank exists, it consumes 16 points of spiritual power value. The heavy tank has the following capabilities: movement, radar detection scan, assault, main gun caliber 125 mm, direct fire range 3000 meters, 45-degree maximum elevation range 16,000 meters, and can equip other superpower weapons. Note, when the spiritual power value reaches 0, the heavy tank will automatically retract. Seeing the effect of this skill, the three of them all took a deep breath. Zhang Zhen exclaimed, "Oh my gosh, the maximum range is 16,000 meters? If you use your God's Eye view for aiming, the enemy won't even know where you are before they're blasted to bits. It's too overpowered." Ling Xuan was also shocked. Even more crucially, with a heavy tank's defensive power, there's no professional below level 50 who can break its defense with one hit. Even the most powerful illusion god professions would need to focus their fire for over a minute. If you were to equip it with other superpower weapons, in an enclosed area, wouldn't you be invincible below level 50, steamrolling everything in your path? Starting from level 30, mechanics have access to powerful heavy superpower weapons. At this point, if the mechanic has accumulated enough, they can essentially have the strength to fight 100 in the same tier. For example, with this tank, if the mechanic hides inside to output damage, without exhausting the ammo or breaking the tank's armor, the enemy basically has no way to deal with the mechanic. And if this mechanic is Li Hashan, well, then it's game over. You know, Li Hashan's tank comes with unlimited ammunition. Chapter 45, New Talent, Mechanical Substitute. After grinding monsters for such a long time, Li Hashan's God's Eye view has now expanded to nearly 30,000 meters. That's a whole 30 kilometers of range. With the maximum range of this heavy tank being 16,000 meters, Li Hashan can easily perform precise long-range attacks using the main cannon, without interruption, and simultaneously monitor all activities within a 30-kilometer radius. With his current spiritual power value, he can casually summon dozens of tanks. If he equips the tanks with Gatling machine guns, rocket cannons, and Barretts to increase the firepower coverage, dozens of tanks rolling through, regardless of whether you're an illusion god professional, everyone would have to kneel. It's all about equal treatment. Unless the opponent can instantly move beyond 16,000 meters before the shells land, otherwise, they would be exposed to Li Hashan's strike range. Even being invisible won't help. Don't forget, the heavy tank is equipped with a radar monitoring system. Man, just thinking about it is terrifying. Moreover, with such an attack range, only a profession like the mechanic, which specializes in ultra-long-range attacks, can execute such attacks. Other professions can only passively endure the strikes. Dealing with lower-level professionals is completely like high-tech civilization bombarding primitive people with knives. Zhang Zhen and Ling Xuan exchanged a glance. While shocked, they eagerly glanced at the talent section beside them. At this moment, in addition to the original, unlimited ammo, and God's Eye view, a new string of text lit up in the talent section. Mechanics exclusive talent, Phase 3, Mechanical Substitute. Note 1, when the main body is attacked, you can choose to swap positions with one of the summoned superpower weapons, allowing the superpower weapon to take all the damage for you. Note 2, unlocks the 4th phase of exclusive talent at level 40. Seeing this talent, the three were instantly stunned. Zhang Zhen dumbfoundedly looked up at Li Hashan. Little Junior, based on the explanation of this talent, can I understand that as long as you have spiritual power and can summon superpower weapons, it's equivalent to having an undying body? Li Hashan instinctively replied, the talent description seems to say there's no cool downtime, right? In that case, this talent should always be effective, which seems no different from an undying body. Hiss. 3 deep inhales sounded simultaneously, almost swallowing all the air in this little spot. Ling Xuan exclaimed, This is too outrageous. Even the Buddhist invincible golden body can only be used once a day, and yours can be used as you please? Li Hashan's eyes flickered with excitement, eager to try. How about, let's give it a try? Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen exchanged another glance and nodded heavily. Then, Li Hashan took a few steps back and, after some thought, summoned 10 glute pistols all at once. According to the explanation of mechanical substitute, there's no specification on the type of superpower weapon that should absorb the damage for the main body. This means the determination for this mechanical substitute is based on the quantity, not quality. In that case, glute pistols are naturally the optimal choice. Seeing the glute pistols floating around Li Hashan, Ling Xuan cautiously asked, Little Junior, are you ready? Li Hashan nodded with excitement and anticipation. Ready, bring it on, second senior sister. Ling Xuan focused her gaze and casually waved towards Li Hashan. Then, a bright silver cross detached and flew straight towards Li Hashan. Space cross slash. The sharp cross slash arrived in an instant and landed on Li Hashan. Then in the next moment, Li Hashan's body flashed and suddenly disappeared. Replacing him was a matte silver glute pistol. Click, the glute pistol was instantly cut into 4 pieces by the space cross slash, falling to the ground. Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen instinctively turned to look aside. Li Hashan's body suddenly appeared beside them, replacing one of the glute pistols. Li Hashan hurriedly checked his body all over, feeling it all along. It was indeed perfectly intact. Though expected, Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen still had faces full of shock. The mechanic, as a profession with an explosive level of attack force, has always been looked down upon by people. The most important reasons are threefold. 1. Poor endurance. 2. Slow formation, huge resource consumption. 3. After one burst, it immediately becomes a burden for the team, easily picked off by assassin-type enemies in the back. But now, Li Hashan has already compensated for all three weaknesses. As long as he has spiritual power value, he can bombard continuously with unlimited ammo. His skills directly empower superpower weapons, allowing him to summon infinitely, without the needing additional resources to create and accumulate assets. Plus, with the talent mechanical substitute he recently unlocked, just based on Li Hashan's current spiritual power value, it equates to having thousands of lives. Unless the opponent can kill him 1,000 times instantly, otherwise, Li Hashan simply won't die. More importantly, Li Hashan is only at level 30 now. Once his level increases, for professional casters, spiritual power value can easily be tens of thousands above. What's the point of even trying to kill then? Suddenly, Ling Xuan's eyes gleamed, as if thinking of something, intently looking at Li Hashan. Little Junior, I remember you said before, once you summon these superpower weapons, they won't disappear automatically as long as you don't actively dismiss them, but will continue consuming spiritual power value to maintain their state, right? Li Hashan nodded. That's right, second senior sister. Why did you suddenly think to ask this? Ling Xuan excitedly said, then if you summon a glute pistol and leave it at home, it will also stay in that state indefinitely, right? Li Hashan's eyes lit up. Second senior sister, you mean? Ling Xuan nodded heavily. That's basically a get-out-of-jail-free card. For professionals above level 30, the natural recovery rate of spiritual power value has already significantly increased, and a glute pistol only consumes 1 point of spiritual power value per minute. With such consumption speed, the natural spiritual power recovery rate of magic professions can easily cover it, even with plenty of room to spare. As long as you always keep a glute pistol at home, no one can kill you. Moreover, it also acts as a safe teleportation point, blocking damage for you while also transferring you to a safe area, killing two birds with one stone. Zhang Zhen's mouth dropped open. You can play it like this? Li Hashan's mind immediately began to expand, excitedly saying, with my current natural spiritual power recovery rate, not to mention one, I can sustain several glute pistols at once. Inspired by Ling Xuan, he instantly thought of several clever tactics. Hey, with this, the playstyle options are endless. Chapter 46, Headshot Teleportation? Upon hearing Li Hashan's words, Ling Xuan immediately grew curious and asked, oh? You thought of other uses? Li Hashan chuckled, second senior sister, if I just leave a glute pistol at home, wouldn't I have to return home in case of an emergency? That's too inconvenient. I can carry a glute pistol with me, and if I'm ambushed, I can use the glute pistol on me to take the damage for me, so I won't have to teleport home. Besides, I can leave a glute pistol at home, in the Tanjing City Guild, or other places I frequently visit. Wouldn't that be like a cunning rabbit with 3 burrows? Even if the enemy wants to ambush me, they can't. Zhang Zhen realized, that's right. If you leave more places, even if there are enemies targeting you, they won't be able to find all your teleportation points. That way, it's much safer. Li Hashan nodded, exactly, that's what I mean. He excitedly said, not only that, but I can also use these glute pistols as portable teleportation arrays. No matter where I want to go, as long as I leave a glute pistol there in advance, when I want to go there later, wouldn't I be able to teleport there instantly using the mechanical substitute? Ling Xuan asked skeptically, your mechanical substitute doesn't seem to teleport actively, right? It only activates when you take fatal damage. Li Hashan chuckled again, that's simple, I just summon a superpower weapon and headshot myself, right? The talent notes don't say the fatal damage has to come from the outside, do they? Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen widened their eyes. Hiss. Headshot teleportation? You really are a genius. So ruthless towards yourself. Li Hashan continued, when I reach the area I want to go to, I can summon a new glute pistol to place there so I can continue teleporting next time. This is much more convenient than city teleportation arrays. And more importantly, this method can also be used for instance exploration and field pinpoint teleportation. It's practically unlimited blinking. Li Hashan's eyes grew brighter as he spoke. Besides, I can also have others carry a glute pistol, using it as my summon locator. My summoned superpower weapons are mentally linked to me. If the distance is too far, I might not be able to control them for attack, but I can sense them. As long as we prearrange a signal, like tapping the gun barrel 3 times, I can sense it immediately. If they need my help, just tap 3 times, I'll immediately headshot myself, then teleport to their side. With my attack power, I'll definitely be of great help." At these words, Ling Xuan and Zhang Zhen exchanged glances, instinctively imagining such a scenario in their minds. Right now, Li Hashan's level is low, and for professionals of their level, perhaps his help isn't that significant yet. But what about when Li Hashan reaches level 50, 60, 70 in the future? It's no exaggeration to say that he alone could be worth 1,000 troops. Imagine if they're fighting enemies outside, or being ambushed by them. When the enemy is confidently thinking they have won, they suddenly pull out a galoot pistol and tap it 3 times. Then, Li Hashan descends with hundreds or thousands of superpower weapons. What expression would the enemies have? Damn, just thinking about it is exciting. This is truly a strategic existence. Sigh. Ling Xuan let out a breath and said to Li Hashan, "The teacher's decision was indeed correct. As long as you can grow, our East Dragon Empire is bound to soar again." Zhang Zhen also shook his head with a sigh. "Junior brother, your mechanic's exclusive talent is becoming more and more perverse. Now I'm more curious about those talents you haven't unlocked yet." Li Hashan chuckled, "Third senior brother, it's not just you, I'm curious too." Ling Xuan smiled helplessly, "Don't worry, with our speed of leveling up, reaching level 40 won't take too long." She looked up at the setting sun and said to Li Hashan, "Little junior brother, it's getting late. Let's stop here today, go back and have some food to rest, and change your gear to epic gear. When you reach level 30, you can go to the Endless Altar. After sunset, the danger in the wild increases exponentially, so to be safe, we'll only go into the wild to fight monsters during the day, rest at night, and let the wild monsters recover. If you're free at night, you can tackle the Endless Altar alone." Upon saying this, Ling Xuan smiled. As a solo instance, the number of monsters in the Endless Altar is astonishing, and it's a great challenge for any professional. But for a mechanic like you who isn't limited by ammo, the Endless Altar seems tailor-made for you. Li Hashan nodded excitedly, "Sure, second senior sister, let's head back now." Ling Xuan casually tore open a spatial rift, stepping through it with Li Hashan and Zhang Zhen, disappearing from sight. Qinghua Academy, Principal's office. Wang Qingfeng frowned deeply, the flames in his eyes like a volcano about to erupt, full of unrest. Suddenly, a spatial rift silently appeared, then expanded, from which 3 people emerged. It was Ling Xuan and the others returning from their experience grind. Ling Xuan immediately noticed Wang Qingfeng's furious face, and asked in surprise, "Senior brother, what's wrong with you? Did someone upset you?" Seeing his junior brothers and sisters return, Wang Qingfeng said solemnly, "Those Sakura country bastards are too arrogant. Today, they..." In a few words, Wang Qingfeng explained what happened today to his junior brothers and sisters. That Kobayashi, relying on his Onmyoji's exclusive top-quality legendary set, suppressed our East Dragon Empire in the camp battle dungeon all afternoon. So far, our East Dragon Empire has already lost hundreds of professionals below level 50, including quite a few elite students from Qinghua and Beida. But what's even more infuriating is, that guy opened up camp energy storage to attract professionals over level 50 to participate through level and equipment balance. He even used the ores from camp battle dungeon as rewards, luring over 100 intermediate professionals above level 50 to their deaths. With a bang, Wang Qingfeng angrily slammed the table. And he even dares to say things like fortune lies in danger, top ores are for the capable. I'd really like to kill that little bastard. Hearing this, Ling Xuan and the others' faces instantly turned dark. Ling Xuan's face was filled with murderous intent. Is Sakura country looking for death? How dare they provoke us so arrogantly? Wang Qingfeng said gravely, those Sakura bastards probably wouldn't dare confront us so openly. If I'm not mistaken, it's definitely under the instigation of the Freedom Federation, wanting to probe the reasons behind our national ban. If we make a move against Sakura country, the Freedom Federation will definitely seize the opportunity to get involved. They've used Sakura country as a tool before. Chapter 47, Li Hashan goes to battle? Is it the Freedom Federation stirring up trouble again? Zhang Zhen frowned and said. Ling Xuan, her face masked with frost, replied, even if the Freedom Federation is behind this, the people killed by Sakura country are real and deserve to die all the same. Wang Qingfeng sighed helplessly, they deserve to die, indeed, but below level 50, that effeminate Kobayashi is quite troublesome. Moreover, I suspect the Heavenly Light Guild has probably sent many elites to assist Kobayashi. In such small-scale camp battle dungeons, the Onmyoji can overpower with help from Shinigami, and with the ninja's stealth attacks, our professionals below level 50 will suffer. Upon hearing Wang Qingfeng's words, Li Hashan's eyes flashed brightly, and he suddenly spoke up, Senior brother, how about letting me give it a try? Wang Qingfeng was taken aback, surprised as he looked at Lee Hashin. You? No way. What if you encounter an accident inside the instance? Besides, if you join the camp battle dungeon, your abilities will be exposed to teammates. If any detail slips out, it could be troublesome. Lee Hashin thought for a moment and asked, Senior brother, I recall there is no rule in the camp battle dungeon stating that both camps must have the same number of people, right? Wang Qingfeng nodded instinctively. As long as it is within the restricted number, any amount is fine. Lee Hashin smiled slightly. Then it's simple. I remember the camp battle dungeon allows name hiding. If I hide my name and go alone, wouldn't I still keep it secret? Wang Qingfeng's eyes widened instantly. You're going into the camp battle alone? He shook his head vigorously. No, the Shinigami aren't the problem, but the ninjas from Sakura country are adept at various escape techniques and stealth, specializing in assassination. If they get close to you, even if your firepower is endless, you wouldn't withstand a single blow. Hearing Lee Hashin's words, Ling Xuan's expression shifted, revealing excitement. Not necessarily. If we equip the junior brother with a full set of pink gear and pile up his spiritual power, those cucumbers from Sakura country really won't be a match for him. Wang Qingfeng looked displeased at Ling Xuan. Junior brother's attacks are indeed strong, but the crux is he doesn't have life-saving skills. If the enemy ambushes, it would spell trouble. We can't take such a risk. Ling Xuan chuckled. Senior brother, the junior brother has reached level 30 now. Wang Qingfeng instinctively replied, even so, reaching level 30 won't withstand a single strike. However, he didn't finish his sentence before his body shuddered, suddenly realizing. Although other professions have some improvement upon reaching level 30, there isn't really any dramatic change. But Lee Hashin is different. Once he reaches level 30, he can unlock a new talent. Could it be? Wang Qingfeng eagerly looked at Lee Hashin. Junior brother, did you unlock a new talent? What effect does your new talent have? Lee Hashin chuckled, not explaining, and directly displayed his attribute panel. Mechanics exclusive talent, 3rd stage, mechanical substitute. Note 1, when the body takes damage, you can switch positions with any summoned superpower weapon and let the superpower weapon take all the damage instead. Note 2, the 4th stage of the exclusive talent can be unlocked at level 40. Oh my gosh. Upon seeing this talent's description, Wang Qingfeng's eyes widened abruptly. This talent, does it have no cooldown or usage limitations? He dumbfoundedly looked at Lee Hashin. Lee Hashin nodded with a smile. We've tested it, and it indeed doesn't have any. Doesn't that mean, unless they deplete your superpower weapons, otherwise, you basically have an undying body? Yeah, that's pretty much the idea. Wow. You're practically unstoppable. It's like you're using cheats. Wang Qingfeng couldn't help but curse. Ling Xuan added, Senior brother, take a look at junior brother's newly unlocked skill as well. Oh, yeah, at level 30, junior brother unlocked another skill. Wang Qingfeng quickly looked at the skill bar. Heavy tank? Farthest range of 16,000 meters? Hiss. Wang Qingfeng gasped. He said in a daze, I remember the camp battle dungeon's map is roughly 10 kilometers in radius, right? Doesn't this mean Hashin can bombard the entire map with his skill? Directly shell the opponent's crystal from our own crystal? Ling Xuan nodded vigorously, eyes sparkling. Exactly. And, after grinding monsters for so long today, Junior Brother's God's Eye view now extends to a 30-kilometer range, fully capable of covering the entire camp battle dungeon map, monitoring the whole situation. Plus, the heavy tank comes with radar detection scanning device, so even if Sakura country's ninjas can stealth, as soon as they approach Junior Brother, they'll be discovered immediately. At that point, Junior Brother just needs to focus fire and eliminate them. And back 10,000 steps, even if they manage to ambush Junior Brother, he has the mechanical substitute. Just throw out dozens of glute pistols at the start to be on the safe side, and Junior Brother won't possibly lose. Hold on, let me get this straight. Wang Qingfeng paced around the room excitedly, with the tank's focused attacks and full map bombardment, combined with dozens of glute pistols to guard against assassin ambushes. If you also add dozens of Gatling guns and rocket cannons for mid to close range firepower coverage, this is practically flawless. Wang Qingfeng punched the air jubilantly, laughing heartily. Goodness. It's like starting off Invincible. Lee Hashin smiled. Senior Brother, can you relax now? Wang Qingfeng's eyes gleamed. I can. Haha, this time, we'll make sure those cucumbers from Sakura country won't know what hit them. Junior Brother, let's head out now. Those cucumbers dared provoke our East Dragon. Now it's our turn to strike back. With that, Wang Qingfeng excitedly led Lee Hashin and others to the instance hall. Currently, the instance hall was still filled with a large number of Kingwa students, angrily glaring at the Sakura country camp battle dungeon, cursing vociferously. These damn cucumbers, if I catch a chance one day, I'll definitely finish them off. Damn, Kobe Gigolo's exclusive legendary Onmyoji set is too broken, there's no way to beat it below level 50. I just can't swallow this, it's too disgusting. Isn't there anyone in our East Dragon Empire with extraordinary talents to handle him? Sigh, he has several powerful Shikigami, coupled with his gear advantage, below level 50, it's impossible to take him down. Amidst the noisy murmurs, Lee Hashin looked up, and the declaration on the camp battle dungeon was glaring. Are all the under level 50s in East Dragon just sick people? Is there no one left? Lee Hashin's eyes flashed with a cold gleam, murmuring, sick people? Watch me blast you to smithereens. Chapter 48, One Man's Camp Against? Ling Xuan glanced at the declaration on the bulletin board, a glint of cold light flashing in her eyes, and instructed Lee Hashin, Junior brother, you've upgraded all your blue gear to pink, plus the legendary equipment you acquired in the Abyss dungeon. Your total spiritual power has exceeded 2,000, so in terms of firepower, you should be sufficient. Once you enter, after completing the first wave of summoning, focus on taking out the opponent's red and blue elite monsters first. The red and blue elites can each provide a 30% attack power boost and a 30% spirit recovery speed. With these two buffs, you can unleash your full strength. Lee Hashin nodded seriously, got it, second sister, I understand. After speaking, Lee Hashin entered the camp battle dungeon's teleportation array through a hidden channel that Wang Qingfeng specially opened for him. Sakura Country, Heavenly Light Guild. Kobe Kinjin looked at the bulletin board's camp battle dungeon information with a smug expression. From an hour ago, no one had entered the East Dragon Empire's camp battle dungeon preparation room, it had remained empty. Apparently, the low-level professionals of the East Dragon Empire were too afraid of being killed by Kobayashi. Even though they were extremely angry, they did not dare to enter recklessly again. On the blue side representing Sakura Country, Kobayashi brazenly opened the global chat permissions. While chatting with the onlookers worldwide, he mocked that the low-level professionals of the East Dragon Empire were all weaklings and none could fight. Hey, they say East Dragon is a top-tier nation, with a number of professionals surpassing the world, but turns out, they are all just nobodies, truly disappointing. The young master's divine might is unrivaled, those little wimps from the East Dragon Empire can only offer their necks to be slaughtered when they see him. Indeed, if the young master breaks through level 50 and becomes an intermediate professional, even those in the East Dragon Empire who have completed Advanced Awakening won't be a match for him. Abroad, in the Freedom Federation, the low-level professionals were laughing while watching the chat window. TSK, this time, East Dragon really lost face, it's like they're being rubbed into the ground by those dwarfs from Sakura Country. Hey, you gotta admit, that effeminate Kobayashi does have some skills, to suppress East Dragon this much. It's just his luck for getting a top-quality legendary set. But he can only flaunt below level 50. If he meets those from the East Dragon Empire who have completed Advanced Awakening without level and equipment limitations, he'd be toast in no time. True, in terms of combat strength for intermediate and high-level professionals, Sakura Country is far behind East Dragon. At this moment, a professional nearby suddenly exclaimed in surprise, huh? East Dragon has entered again. Oh? After all this killing, there's still someone from East Dragon bold enough to enter. Interesting, as long as someone takes the lead, others may join in. Let me know once East Dragon's people are all here, I'm curious about how long they'll hold out this time. Damn. This guy actually locked the camp. Does he want to challenge Sakura Country's 50 people alone? What? Locked the camp alone? This statement immediately drew everyone's attention, and the crowd rushed over. Wow, he really locked the camp. And actively initiated a battle request. Who is this, so bold? He hid his name. Wow. Still, he's an anonymous hero, this is interesting. In the East Dragon Empire, the changes in the camp battle dungeon also sparked intense discussions among everyone. Wow. As expected, our East Dragon is full of hot-blooded men, this guy is truly courageous. How do you know it's a man? It might be a female hero. Hey, doing something this audacious, apart from Ling Xuan, the Void War god of those years, I haven't seen any woman this fierce. Well, that's true. In the Blue Camp's preparation room, the 50 Sakura Country professionals participating in the camp battle dungeon looked at each other in disbelief. One Onmyoji hesitantly said, who exactly is this? Does he really intend to fight all 50 of us alone? Could he be carrying some secret weapon? The kind that requires martyrdom? Fools. Have you ever seen a secret weapon that lets one person fight 50? Who says so? A mechanic can still fight 100 alone. Fool. A mechanic below level 50 playing 1 against 50 in a camp battle dungeon? Are you out of your mind? Exactly, without other professionals' protection, I could just stealth over and take him down with one blow. What's he gonna use to fight 50 of us? Kobayashi was also puzzled, watching the East Dragon Empire professional whose name was all question marks, frowning. Knowing that I'm leading, where does he get the confidence to fight 50? Strange, I haven't heard of any particularly powerful figures among East Dragon Empire's low-level professionals. Forget it, maybe he's just a brainless hothead looking to die, blinded by anger. Kobayashi thought for a long time but couldn't figure it out. Finally, he lightly shook his head and clicked start. In the red preparation room, Lee Hashin's eyes flashed with cold light, his face filled with excitement and killing intent, staring at the most visible name in the opponent's camp. Kobayashi, how dare you challenge my East Dragon Empire, you're courting death. Suddenly, a layer of intense white light lit up in the preparation room, engulfing Lee Hashin. As the scene in front of him changed, the familiar sensation of teleportation quickly receded. When Lee Hashin's focus cleared up again, he had arrived at a plaza-like clearing. In the center of the clearing, a red crystal floated in midair. Lee Hashin glanced around, muttering to himself, is this the battlefield of the camp battle dungeon, King's Valley? In the next instant, Lee Hashin unhesitatingly summoned dozens of glute pistols, placing them scattered around his camp crystal. Then, he activated God's Eye View, his vision rapidly expanding outward. In a blink, the entire King's Valley map appeared completely in Lee Hashin's vision. It was a rectangular valley, with his red position and Sakura Country's blue position at the opposite corners of the rectangle. In the entire canyon, there were upper, middle, and lower paths leading to the enemy base. The middle of the valley was separated by a river, and on the road of each side's camp, there were 9 defense towers each. In Lee Hashin's view, 50 people appeared in the opposing base. Among them, there were 10 dressed in black ninja uniforms, faces covered, holding daggers, who swiftly vanished as soon as they were teleported in, dispersing in different directions. Lee Hashin knew that these should be the ninjas unique to Sakura Country, especially skilled in stealth, ambush, and assassination, the nemesis of magic-type professionals. Chapter 49, Fire across the entire map. Additionally, there were 10 burly men clad in samurai attire, wielding swords, advancing in 3 groups toward us. These were the samurai of Sakura Country, typical warrior professionals, adept at frontal assaults. As for the remaining 30 men and women dressed in robes, they immediately formed magic formulas and summoned a horde of bizarre-looking creatures, swarming toward us. Undoubtedly, these are the magic-based professions Sakura Country prides itself on. Onmyoji. And the most eye-catching among them is naturally Kobayashi, reputed as the top young talent of Sakura Country. The Shikigami summoned by Onmyoji differ in quality and quantity based on each individual's talent. Most Onmyoji can only summon 1 or 2 Shikigami, but only those with high talent can summon more than 3. Lee Hashin was amazed to see that Kobayashi had summoned 5 Shikigami. Lee Hashin murmured, Yama, Tsuyu Ukimakuren, Bone Woman, Ibuki Doji, Tamamo no Mei, no wonder this guy could kill so many professionals from our East Dragon. Such advanced Shikigami, both offensive and defensive, when paired with the Onmyoji exclusive orange gear with a 50% enhancement, it's formidable indeed. Yet immediately, a smirk appeared at the corner of his mouth, too bad for him, that's still not enough against me. With a mere thought from Lee Hashin, bang 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 bang, enormous heavy tanks began to continuously emerge. In the blink of an eye, 50 medium tanks were lined up in front of Lee Hashin. Over there, after Kobayashi released 5 Shikigami, he immediately headed toward the location of the blue elite monster in his camp. As a mage, a 30% spirit recovery speed enhancement could significantly boost his combat effectiveness. Once I grab the blue buff, I'll go teach that oblivious guy a lesson. Kobayashi muttered to himself, excitedly looking at the blue elite monster that was now revealed in the distance. On the red side ground, Lee Hashin watched the opponent's actions with a playful expression. Ka 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 ka, 20 tank cannons quickly adjusted their angles, targeting the blue elite monster camp across. Then, in the next instant, boom, 20 tanks fired simultaneously. Boom. The blue elite monster in the blue camp was instantly blasted into fragments by the artillery of 20 tanks. A blue aura immediately emerged below Lee Hashin, and at this moment, he felt his spiritual power recovery speed greatly increase, with his spiritual power value rapidly recovering shua. Blue buff, acquired. Kobayashi's face was originally full of excitement, but in the next instant, the thunderous roar and explosion froze him in his tracks, shocked as he watched the blue elite monster vanish in an instant. His pupils contracted sharply, exclaiming in shock, what's going on? Could that guy have already gotten over here? Does he have instant teleportation? At the same time, another muffled sound almost simultaneously echoed from the other side of the blue camp. Kobayashi incredulously looked toward the other direction and exclaimed, that direction seems to be the location of the red elite monster. Could it be? Another Onmyoji accompanying Kobayashi hurriedly controlled his 1,000 Mai Shikigami to quickly ascend into the sky to scout the other direction. A moment later, he exclaimed in shock, "Young master, the red elite monster on the other side was also killed." Kobayashi was astounded. Impossible. The distance to the red elite monster on the opposite side is at least 2 or 3 kilometers. Such a distance, even a mage shouldn't be able to cover both sides simultaneously. Could it be? It's a mechanic on the other side? Considering the artillery that killed the blue elite monster, Kobayashi's expression shifted suddenly, thinking of the profession type in East Dragon with the longest attack range. Meanwhile, in the red camp, another red aura appeared beneath Lee Hashin's feet, enhancing damage by 30%, red buff acquired. Lee Hashin grinned, murmuring, "Hey, with buffs complete, time to push the tower." Ka. The main cannons of the 50 tanks readjusted once more, targeting the first defense tower in the middle lane. Boom. With a unified blast, the first defense tower in the middle lane was simultaneously hit by 50 cannons. The defense tower's durability dropped by more than half instantly, becoming shaky. Then, in the next moment, bam! Another round of volley, and the first defense tower in the middle lane collapsed with a crash. The Onmyoji controlling the 1000-mile Shikigami widened his mouth in shock upon seeing the defense tower instantly demolished by the opponent. He exclaimed in horror, "Young master, the opponent, they've demolished our first defense tower in the middle lane." Kobayashi's pupils quaked, exclaiming in disbelief, "What? How could it be so fast?" His eyes flashed with mad glints, his face contorted in a snarling shout, "Such strong firepower, the opponent must be a mechanic. Baka. Find his location and surround him immediately." Having accumulated so many superpower weapons under level 50, his identity must be extraordinary. Capture him for this young master. I have a hunch he definitely knows the real reason East Dragon is executing the Forbidden Country Order. Indeed, the East Dragon Forbidden Country Order may well be directly related to him. Could it be that old guy Mr. Lee has restarted that mechanical war god program? Boom boom boom, under Lee Hashin's control, 9 the heavy tanks drove off the high ground and stationed under the 9 defense towers on the upper, middle, and lower lanes, standing ready. The radar monitoring system equipped on the tanks covers a range of 5 kilometers, and the distance between these 9 defense towers precisely allows for complete coverage of the area where our camp is located. Just as these tanks settled into position, Lee Hashin detected through the radar scanning system that several ninjas from the other side were stealthily crossing the river and sneaking toward the location of our red and blue elite monsters. Lee Hashin sat boldly in a tank on our high ground, raised an eyebrow, and murmured, "Trying to learn from me and steal the red and blue buffs. Courting death." Ka. The remaining 40 tanks neatly arranged in front of the high ground instantly moved. Using God's eye view, they targeted the sneaking ninjas from Sakura country. In the next moment, boom, they fired simultaneously. Boom. The Onmyoji controlling the 1000-mile Shikigami widened his eyes to the extreme. He saw from afar flames rising simultaneously at 5 or 6 locations throughout the red camp. Amidst those flames, there were fragments of broken limbs and flesh. The ninjas from Sakura country who had infiltrated in, were all wiped out in an instant. At the same time, he also clearly saw the situation on the opposing high ground. Seeing those densely packed heavy tanks lined up along the edge of the high ground and a lone tank hidden behind them, he could guess even without being told that the mechanic must be hiding in that solitary tank. Seeing those rows of dark cannon muzzles, the Onmyoji felt his scalp tingle, subconsciously saying, "Young master, the opponent is indeed a mechanic. I found his location." Chapter 50 Victory. Kobayashi's body trembled as he hastily asked, "Where is he?" "Quickly signal everyone to surround him. The mechanic's attacks are terrifying and he's skilled in long-range combat. We must quickly rush to kill him." However, the Onmyoji controlling the 1000-mile couldn't stop trembling all over, his teeth chattering with fear. After a long pause, he finally came to his senses, incredulously saying, He's at the red camp's high ground. That mechanic never even came out." Kobayashi's expression froze, and he screamed, "What did you say? All those attacks were conducted from the high ground? This can't be. The high ground on the other side is about 7 to 8 kilometers away from here. What kind of superpower weapons is he using to attack us from that distance, and with such power?" The 1000-mile Onmyoji said incredulously, "It's heavy tanks. And there are so many." Kobayashi was stunned, puzzled. Heavy tanks? Their power is indeed terrifying, and their maximum range can indeed cover this area. But at such a distance, even radar wouldn't pick it up. How exactly is he achieving precision strikes? Then, Kobayashi suddenly remembered the words a lot said by the 1000-mile Onmyoji, asked grimly, "How many heavy tanks does he have?" Judging by the firepower just now, there must be at least more than 10, right? The 1000-mile Onmyoji subconsciously counted, stammering in shock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my Amaterasu. He has 50 heavy tanks. Kobayachiro's eyes widened, his voice changed. You say how many? 50? Damn it. He's pointed the cannons at us. Run fast. The 1,000 Milai on Myoji screamed in terror and dashed back. Kobayachiro's pupils constricted instantly, quickly forming a spell and shouting, Shinigami substitute technique. The next instant, the firepower of dozens of tanks rained down here, creating a massive charred crater. The 4 or 5 on Myoji following Kobayachiro didn't even have time to escape the attack range and were instantly blasted into pieces. Even the 1,000 Milai on Myoji wasn't spared. Only Kobayachiro reacted swiftly. He didn't run but used the Shinigami substitute technique to avert disaster. Lee Hashin, watching Kobayachiro escape from the tank's explosion range with a frightened expression, raised an eyebrow and murmured, "The little sissy reacted quite fast. Hey, interesting, let's play slowly then." Over there, Kobayachiro, shaken to his core with fear, quickly retreated to the high ground of the blue camp. At the same time, he screamed hoarsely, "Everyone, scatter and rush over to kill that mechanic." Yes. The other Sakura country professionals who had already spread out wide did not have 1,000 Milai Shinigami. Though they were also shocked by the opponent's powerful firepower, they didn't realize just how strong it was. From the previous cannon fire, they could sense that the opponent's mechanic seemed somewhat extraordinary, but under Kobayachiro's orders, they still subconsciously charged towards the opposing camp. Lee Hashin sat proudly inside a tank, capturing the chaotic movements of the Sakura country professionals through God's eye view, precisely controlling every battlefield action. Subsequently, dozens of tanks on the high ground went into a frenzy, launching a widespread bombardment. It should be known that the mechanic's shelling is not a point-to-point attack but an area-style damage. Even if the shells don't land directly on the target, they can still cause damage within a radius of dozens of meters from the impact point. The samurai, ninja, and onmyoji of Sakura country aren't high defense professions. Under this round of Lee Hashin's bombardment, they all got blasted, flipping defenselessly. In just one round, more than 20 people from the blue camp were blasted dead. The survivors turned pale, terrified of continuing into the red camp, and all turned back to flee. Baka. Is there really only one mechanic on the other side? Why does he have so many superpower weapons? It's terrible. We're doomed. He must be a secret weapon developed by East Dragon. Quick, retreat to the defense tower and use it as cover. Once that bastard runs out of ammo, we'll rush over and chop him to pieces. Right. We still have the defense tower. Amidst the chaotic shouts, the 10 or so surviving Sakura country professionals quickly hid under their defense tower. Lee Hashin chuckled coldly, playing sneaky under the tower with me? I'll tear them all down. With that, all the cannons turned simultaneously, aiming at the first tower on the top road. Boom. With a synchronized roar, 50 main guns fired simultaneously. Boom. The defense tower burst into pieces, its durability on the verge of collapse. With the 30% attack power bonus from the red buff, Lee Hashin's shelling was simply terrifying. Below the defense tower, 2 shocked professionals exclaimed, "Run! This defense tower is done for." Before their voices even fell. Boom. Another round of salvo. Rumble. The defense tower was directly blown to pieces. With a click, all the tanks adjusted their cannons again, aiming at the second tower on the top road and fired once more. The immense and dull cannon sounds reverberated throughout the canyon as the defense towers of the blue camp were quickly dismantled. When all the defense towers were destroyed by Lee Hashin, the remaining Sakura country professionals could only tremble and cower on the high ground, their eyes full of fear and confusion. An onmyoji with disheveled hair mumbled questioningly, "How is this possible? How could this be? At such a distance, how did he even lock onto us? Could it be? This is the legendary blind snipe?" Kobayachiro, filled with terror, cowered at the back, hysterically screaming at the sky, "Who are you? Who the hell are you? I'm Amaterasu's son. If you dare kill me, my father will never let you go." Lee Hashin, expressionless, muttered under his breath, as expected of a Sakura country walk came, always making a big fuss and acting defenseless. "Unfortunately, I can only read East Dragon's lip sync, not understand Sakura country's bird songs." He glanced at his almost depleted spiritual power value and gently said, "Bye-bye." A single tank consumes 16 points of spiritual power value per minute, and 50 tanks use 800 points. And since the start of the camp battle dungeon instance, over 3 minutes have passed. Fortunately, Lee Hashin had harvested the red and blue buffs from his own camp midway, providing a 30% recovery speed and attack power bonus, allowing him to hold out until now. The next moment. Boom. With the last salvo, the terrifying firepower crossed the entire battlefield, landing on the blue high ground. Including Kobayachiro, all the Sakura country professionals were blown to smithereens with a boom. Victory, Blue Camp completely annihilated, Red Camp wins. Chapter 51, Female Boss? Outside, in the instance hall. As soon as Lee Hashin locked in the camp and requested to start the war, all the instance halls in the East Dragon Empire cities instantly became lively. Damn. Who's this guy? So brave, really declared war against Sakura country. Could it be that he got dumped by his girlfriend and is feeling suicidal? TSK, I've seen people jump off buildings or hang themselves, but a 1 versus 50 suicide attempt? First time seeing this, damn heroic. Strange, you'd think someone with the courage to commit suicide wouldn't hide, so why not reveal his name? Maybe he's worried the girlfriend who dumped him might be heartbroken? Holy crap. That's too considerate, right? He's actually. I'm crying. You guys are really something, stop fantasizing, will you? The camp battles started, can you shut up and watch properly? Sakura country, Heavenly Light Guild. Kobe Kenjin, with the same disdainful look, said, 1 against 50? Hey, we get oddballs every year, and East Dragon has even more of them. However, a few seconds later, everyone saw the first defense tower of the Blue Camp turn gray. The East Dragon Empire's instance hall instantly boiled over. Damn. Suicide Bro is awesome. 1 against 50 and he destroyed their mid-tower first? This is using grief and anger as fuel, unleashing the cosmos within. Kobe Kenjin furrowed his brows slightly as he watched his side's defense tower fall, feeling something was off. What profession is the opponent? Why is the damage so high, and the tower push so fast? A dozen seconds later, suddenly, 6 names in the Blue Camp turned gray at once. The instance hall first went silent, then everyone's eyes widened, and they couldn't help but cry out in surprise. Holy crap. Took down 6 of Sakura country's players in one go. How did he do it? Oh my god. Could he be some hidden world expert? So damn fierce. Kobe Kenjin's body trembled slightly, his gaze turning serious. 10 seconds later, several of Sakura country's professionals turned gray again. After a while, a large portion of Sakura country's professionals suddenly turned gray. Next, defense towers of the Blue Camp were turning gray one by one at an astonishing speed. Moreover, Sakura country's professionals were also continuously dying. In the East Dragon Empire's instance hall, everyone watching this scene had their jaws hanging open, exclaiming holy crap repeatedly. Not only them, but spectators from all major countries worldwide were also dumbfounded. Viewers from the Freedom Federation, just watching the fun, even suspected if Sakura country had suddenly switched sides and was acting in concert with East Dragon Empire. Fuck. Am I seeing things? Holy shit. East Dragon is hiding such a powerhouse. WTF. Am I under some illusion? Bro, slap me to check. Slap. Ow. You motherfucker. Why hit so hard? 3 minutes later, the remaining few names in the Blue Camp all turned gray instantly. Including the one known as the top talent of Sakura country's younger generation, Kobe Ichiro. Gasp. Sounds of inhalation echoed through the instance halls of all countries, and the peak oxygen consumption of the entire planet instantly surged. Oh my goodness. He really won. A 1 versus 50 took them all down. Who is this powerhouse? So fierce, please introduce. I want to pledge myself to them. Pledge yourself? What if it's a female powerhouse? Then from today, I won't like men anymore. No wild gun can compare to a female powerhouse's finger. You're impressive. Sakura country, Heavenly Light Guild. Kobe Kenjin's eyes widened suddenly, his body trembling violently, lips shivering. Ichiro? The next moment, Kobe Kenjin's eyes filled with blood, veins bulging on his forehead. He lost control and roared hysterically, Baka. Baka. Who on earth? Who dares to kill my precious son? In the instance hall's announcement board, the declaration of the camp battle instance suddenly changed. Is this it? Number 1 under level 50? Eat it. Seeing this line, there's a boom, and all the instance halls in the East Dragon Empire simultaneously erupted. Whoa. East Dragon is awesome. Mighty powerhouse. Haha, I bet the powerhouse must be from U City. Fellow townsmen, amazing. So funny. I wonder if Sakura country's lyrics can understand our profound Eastern Dragon language, hee hee. In an instant, similar scenes unfolded in countries around the globe, searching for people who had stayed in the East Dragon to translate those last words. Kobe Kenjin glared at his subordinate with a stormy face. Tell me. What does that last sentence mean? The subordinate, trembling, looked at his guild leader and hesitated. Guild leader, do you really want to know? Kobe Kenjin slapped him, slap. Instantly leaving a handprint on the subordinate's left cheek. Kobe Kenjin shouted, Baka. I told you to say it. The subordinate struggled for a while, reluctantly whispering, eat shit. Slap. Another slap. Kobe Kinjin yelled, louder, I can't hear you. The subordinate, with a stiff neck, shouted the same, eat it. Kobe Kinjin's face looked incredulous, then twisted in rage, anger levels off the charts. Damn it. Even you dare to curse me? Die. Kobe Kinjin kicked him, boom went the sound, the subordinate flew, crashing hard into the wall, foaming at the mouth. He weakly pointed at Kobe Kinjin, struggling to say, Asiba. You're the one who told me to say it. The next moment, his head slumped, falling into a baby-like slumber. Outside the hidden channel of the Kingwa Academy's instance hall, the two leaders of the Nuclear Peace Elites and Dragon Group were grinning while looking at the announcement board. Haha, satisfying. Really damn thrilling, Kobe Kinjin must be fuming right now. Wang Qingfeng said with relish. Ling Xuan exhaled heavily, excited, junior brother really is amazing. As expected of a mechanic with unlimited ammo, even Kobayashi with his complete legendary set couldn't last a few minutes. Zhang Zhen clenched his fist, invigorated. This time Sakura country took a huge hit. We took down Heavenly Light's air in front of the whole world, and it was a 1 versus 50, haha. At this moment, the contents on the announcement board changed again. Sakura brats, can't you hype up? Can't kill you all. With this sentence, the instance hall instantly exploded. Holy crap. It's really a female powerhouse. My god. Our East Dragon actually has such a heroic woman? That's too domineering. Sister, please support me. I don't want to work hard anymore. Wang Qingfeng and the other two froze at the same time. Then Wang Qingfeng was the first to react, couldn't help but praise. Junior brother really knows how to play. This strategy of creating mystery is brilliant. Ling Xuan chuckled, now those foreign guys will be led around by junior brother's nose. Chapter 52, deliberately mystifying. Sure enough, once Li Hashan said those words, everyone's thoughts were immediately led astray by him. Freedom Federation. At this time, several key leaders of the Yuan God Guild were congregating in the office of the president, Parker Williams, as they intently watched the live broadcast in the instance hall. Parker Williams frowned slightly, his face showing a puzzled expression. When did the East Dragon Empire produce such a fierce woman leader? How come I've never heard of her? Gotham Branch President James Gordon also looked incredulous. Below level 50, Sakura Country's Kobayashi is indeed considered a top professional, even compared to our own Bruce Wayne. They're just about equally matched. But for a mysterious powerhouse from the East Dragon Empire to be able to kill all 50 Sakura Country professionals, including Kobayashi, in such a short time, that's too exaggerated. Hueco Branch President Bruno Collins' face was also heavy. Her combat power is absurdly strong. Is there really a professional below level 50 so powerful? Parker Williams pondered. The East Dragon Empire has many types of professionals, including plenty of powerful illusion god professionals. Among them, many can fight several opponents single-handedly, such as summoners, mechanics, beast tamers, night patrol deity. Speaking of this, Parker Williams couldn't help but shake his head. Just the known powerful professions alone number at least over 10, and from time to time some especially powerful new professions emerge. It's really hard to say. James Gordon frowned in analysis. According to the information we have, the awakening of professionals in the East Dragon Empire is quite related to gender. For example, mechanics and beast tamers are usually males, with females making up less than 10%. As for summoners, it's the other way around. Females make up a much larger proportion, and for night patrol deity it's about half and half. If this mysterious professional from East Dragon is a female, we can roughly narrow it down from the known professions. Bruno Collins shook his head. The uncertainty is too great, and don't forget another possibility. Maybe this fierce woman is not a professional below level 50? Parker Williams' eyes flashed with a cold light. Bruno is right. If the opponent is a professional over 50 levels, they may have participated through level and equipment balancing. The possibility is even greater. After all, compared to professionals with over 40 levels, those above level 50 have much stronger basic attributes, especially the geniuses among them. Parker glanced at the two and said in a deep voice, "Send out a message. Ask those professionals who have stayed in the East Dragon Empire, see if they know any information about this female professional. Such an absurdly strong figure, even if she deliberately hides herself, shouldn't be completely unknown." "Yes, President." "Yes, President." The two answered in unison. East Dragon Empire, in the camp battle dungeon. As the victory prompt appeared in front of Li Hashan, another line of text floated up at the same time. Ding dong. The enemy's spiritual power has been fully absorbed by our crystal. Would you like to transfer the energy from the enemy's crystal to ours as well? Li Hashan was slightly stunned, then immediately recalled what Wang Qingfeng said earlier. Kobayashi and others had activated camp energy storage to attract professionals over level 50 from the East Dragon Empire to participate, using the aura produced in the camp battle dungeon as bait. Originally, The blue side where Kobayashi and others were, always won, so the camp energy storage was also on the blue side's crystal. But now, after achieving victory, the accumulated energy from Kobayashi and others could naturally be transferred to his side's crystal. Transfer. Lee Hashin, without hesitation, chose to transfer. Meanwhile, information about the special equipment, Aura, produced in the camp battle dungeon quickly flashed in his mind. Aura is relatively rare equipment. It can only be obtained through the camp battle dungeon, and under certain conditions. To condense an aura in the camp battle dungeon, at least 100 professionals have to be sacrificed to gather enough camp energy for the aura to form. Plus, the more professionals sacrificed, the more spiritual power value the camp crystal absorbs, thus the better the aura attribute. But the problem is, the properties and effects of the aura are random. Moreover, only professionals who participate in the camp battle dungeon can equip it. Once leaving the camp battle dungeon, the aura immediately binds to the professional, and others cannot use it. In such circumstances, unless it's a guild war,